important principles of Lean and Six Sigma, right? And whenever we get the opportunity, I'll be playing this song. At some point of time, you will be able to understand the lyrics completely. So that's a confirmation that you have gone through a good amount of transformation. Okay. So very good evening and a warm welcome to each and every one of you to the Lean Six Sigma training and certification program. So you are going to learn the Six Sigma principles, methodology, tools, and techniques, starting from the basics and up to the advanced level. And the first four sessions are going to focus on the basics, like which will transform you to the yellow belt level. And then another four sessions will take you to the intermediate level of proficiency known as the green belt. Then again, another 12-hour session will transform you to the black belt level. So, and then you might know the program approach framework, isn't it? All the sessions will be evening, Saturday, Sunday, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Once the body of knowledge is completed, the next week there will be small assessment and we'll be sharing you some preparatory exams in the WhatsApp group. So make sure to read all the postings or the informations we share in the WhatsApp group and try to comply to that so that you will not only qualify in the exam, but also will be able to feel the transformation, but also will be able to achieve the results in the form of, career growth. So definitely the course has a big potential to impact positively in your professional life. It can be a promotion to senior level position, or it can be a salary hike, or it can be a new job opportunity, much, much better than your current job. So all of these things can happen, but then it all depends on your ability, right, to internalize the learnings and then you need to project the same whenever you are talking or working, taking any action. So if you could do that, certainly you will be able to outperform the average professionals and then attract the good results towards you, right? And it can be any situation. It can be a meeting that is happening in your office where you can talk in a leisure sharp manner, ask questions, answer questions, everything in a laser sharp manner, and hence automatically you will be the point of attraction. So that much potential the course has got. So see to that you participate fully, right? You should be completely in the program throughout the training minutes, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m., right? Even 9:55 you should be very active. I hope you all will agree to be active, throughout the session, not only at 7 o'clock, even towards 10 o'clock. Sometimes we may slightly go beyond 10 o'clock. You should not start sleeping. You must still be, active. Okay. So I hope all of you will cooperate with me. So with that note, let me straight away take you through the session because I know yesterday already you all had the induction, you got introduced, right? So, but I'm really impressed with majority of you staying on the camera. Continue to
Hello.
impress me throughout, right? So that way the job of the
Hello.
trainer becomes much easier. Yeah, somebody want to say something?
हेलो
Okay.
गुड इवनिंग सर, मैं अभिषेक बोल रहा हूँ।
Yes, Abhishek.
सर क्या आप मेरे को थोड़ा बहुत हिंदी में भी एक्सप्लेन कर सकते हैं इसे?
I can, but then problem is I don't know Hindi, right? So I'll be keeping very simple English, speaking very, very simple English.
ओके सर।
That way, yeah, that way everybody will be comfortable, right? Okay. So no worries. I'll make sure everybody understands the content. Okay. So let me just share my screen and we can get into the learning mode. Yes. If you could understand the basics very well, at any afterwards, you can learn any module, even any advanced tool, you can learn very easily. Okay. So I'm just sharing the screen. Please confirm all of you are able to.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I only have to put the screen
Yes,
share.
sir.
Yes. Yeah. Now you should be able to see my presentation in full screen, right? So
Yeah, you can.
certification training. And this is my profile. You very well know, should have been shared already. So I'm a doctorate in mechanical engineering, master's in industrial engineering, bachelor's in production engineering, all with distinction. And I'm a certified Lean Six Sigma Master Black Belt. So have enough experience to guide all of you through the body of knowledge, starting from white belt. And our seventh Master Black Belt batch is running parallelly. We produce 50 Master Black Belts every year and keep the highest levels of standards while certifying the people. So that is going to happen here also. All right. So the very first session, we are going to focus on these content. What is Six Sigma performance? What actually Six Sigma means? Similarly, what lean means? And then the operational excellence. What does it, or no, what does it actually mean, operational excellence? And then the principles, the basic quality principles, the basic lean principles, basic Six Sigma principles, and then history behind lean and Six Sigma, the methodology of Six Sigma, which is known as DMAIC. If you keep all problem solving methodology in a pyramid, on top of the pyramid, you see the Six Sigma methodology, right? The problem solving methodology of Six Sigma. So a superior problem solving methodology, which can be used to solve all kinds of problem. It can be very simple, straightforward problem, or it can be a highly complex problem. All the problems can be solved using the DMAC methodology and the tools and techniques under DMAC. And we will also try to gain a deeper understanding of DMAC in detail. And in the process, we will go through several examples and several case studies. Hope it sounds good with all of you, right? To start with. Okay. So straight away, first question. What is Six Sigma? If you ask me, Six Sigma is actually a mindset. Six Sigma is a mindset. Six Sigma is a culture by which we seek perfection in everything we are doing. We'll seek perfection in everything we are doing. Also, what is perfection? Always know whatever we do are in line with the requirements, are in line with the planned result, right? Whatever is the results planned, and we are able to produce the same result. So we can consider Six Sigma as a perfection or accuracy or effectiveness or right the first time. More or less the meaning is same. You could easily understand, right? Six Sigma is actually a mindset. It's an intention to achieve perfection in everything we are doing. If we are trying to achieve the perfection, then whatever we do, they will be correct in the first attempt itself. The chance of doing things right at the first time will be very, very higher because we don't want to take any risk. We simply wanted to see to that we produce outputs always in line with the requirements. Six Sigma can also be considered as accuracy. So what do we mean by accuracy? Accuracy means our ability to hit the target. Our ability to hit the target. If you are exactly on the target, you are 100% accurate. Yes or no? If you are exactly on the target, you are 100% accurate. But if you are away from the target, we call it bias. We call it deviation. We call it variation. So it is basically the variation It is basically the deviation, the variation. If we fail to control, slowly we move away from the target and our output will become unacceptable. Yes or no? So, what is actually causing the defects or the non-conformances? Failure to control the deviation or the variation. This is very, very important principle of Six Sigma. If you could control all forms of variation, defects cannot happen easily. The chance of producing defects will become very, very low if you effectively control the variation. And that is why I say Six Sigma is nothing but an accuracy. Always we want to hit the target. We just don't want to we just don't want to be inside the specifications. We want to be on the target. There is a difference between the approach. You can try to be within the spec. You can also try to hit the target directly. So which is a better approach? Trying to hit the target is right, because even though customer gives some tolerance, some allowance, our intention is not to use the allowance or the tolerance. That's the point. So effectiveness means zero defects. Effectiveness means full conformance, right? Let's say there are 100 people here and all 100 people write the exam and all 100 people score very high marks in the first attempt itself. That means your training and the learning are very effective, right? So effectiveness means no defects. Your ability to produce all the outputs meeting the requirements right the first time, right? Hope everything is clear here, right? So Six Sigma can be considered as any one of these. In fact, all of them are more or less same. So if we are executing or demonstrating these things, automatically your organization will be able to get these results: profit maximization, customer satisfaction, long-term success. Of course, all your results will start improving on a continual basis. There is another point, the legal compliance. Like there are so many regulatory bodies or many OEMs, they have a lot of expectation to sign contract with the other companies so that they can supply some materials or can supply some child parts. So in order to become a supplier of a big OEMs, you may have to comply to the guidelines of the regulatory bodies like IATF, AAAG, and so many other things. So accepting and then practicing Six Sigma principles can easily qualify you to meet the compliance requirements of any regulatory body, right? And particularly the automotive related bodies, guidelines, the Six Sigma principles will align to a great extent, right? So your whole business becomes predictable, sustainable, and then the desirable in terms of growth. Growth can be predicted, and any growth can also be sustained. And not only that, you can achieve any desired amount of growth. All that needed is, you should be able to demonstrate perfection in everything you are doing, right? So, hope the Six Sigma, what is Six Sigma is understood. And to go one step ahead, when we are performing at a Six Sigma capability, let us imagine we are performing at Six Sigma capability. It means defects are very rare. I can't say defects are zero. Rare, very, very rare. To the extent that only 3 or 4 defects are possible out of 1 million chances. If there are 1 million chances of a defect to happen, if we are operating at Six Sigma capability, you know how many defects or mistakes will actually happen? 3 or 4. Are you with me on this? 3 or 4 defects out of how many chances?
1 million
1.
opportunities.
So yeah, 1 million. So the chances in Six Sigma, we call it as opportunities, right? We call it as opportunities. Defects per million opportunities. How many defects? 3 or 4
Four.
out of 1
1
million
million.
opportunities. Opportunities means opportunity for a defect, opportunity for a mistake, opportunity for a failure, opportunity for a non-conformance. All are same, isn't it? If there is a non-conformance, customer requirement is not met, you can consider that as a failure. You can consider that as a mistake. You can consider that as an error. You can also consider that as a defect. So the fundamental definition of defect is a form of non-conformance to customer requirement. A form of non-conformance to customer requirement can be defined as a defect. If a process is operating at Six Sigma capability, how many defects are only possible? 3 or 4
3 or 4.
out of 1 million opportunities. We are going to deep dive and then talk about DPMO in detail in the upcoming slides. Okay, we now move on. Now the next slide talks about a famous Dabbawala in Mumbai. We all very well know about the Dabbawalas in Mumbai. So a group of 5,000 people involved in delivery of your lunch dabbas, lunch boxes. They collect the lunch box from your house and bring it to your office exactly during the lunch hours, and then again collect it back from your office and deliver it back to your house. Right? This is the business they do. So that means your lunch is delivered on your table exactly during the lunchtime, isn't it? So that is the kind of service they do. In a day, they complete about 2 lakh transaction. That means they deliver around 2 lakh lunch boxes. A group of 5,000 people delivering 2 lakh lunch boxes every single day. So many articles, so many, case studies about the Dabbawalas were discussed in IIMs, and then you can read about them in many articles also. I too have read an article about Dabbawalas in a magazine known as Forbes magazine. In that, they have mentioned that the Dabbawalas performance is much ahead of Six Sigma capability. In the previous slide, what is our understanding about the Six Sigma capability? 3 or 4 defects out of 1 million opportunities. But the magazine says the Dabbawalas are performing above Six Sigma capability, right? And there is also statistics written over there. They commit only one mistake out of 16 million transactions. One mistake out of 16 million. In a day, 2 lakh transaction. And they attract one mistake out of 16 million. Now tell me, to complete 16 million transaction, how many days they will require? 1 day is 2 lakh. So how many days they will be reaching 16 million transaction? Little calculation.
8 days.
8 days.
8 days.
8 days, 2 lakhs into 8 days into 2 lakhs will be 16 lakhs only. But how many transactions written here?
16 million.
16 million. 1 million is 10 lakhs. So 16 million is 160 lakhs. To complete 160 lakh, 80 days. That means literally 80 days once they have a chance of attracting a customer complaint. Do you understand their level of performance?
Yes.
Right. And just compare how many mistakes we attract in our workplace. That means almost 79 days they are defect free, they are complaint free. Only on 80th day they attract a complaint. So that's why they have been recognized for their level of performance. You could see the accuracy in their performance, the perfection in their performance, the effectiveness in the performance, the right the first time approach, and all of these things are happened. Please tell me a few reasons. How are they able to achieve this much level of, perfection and performance? What is the secret behind? Can you tell me? Or you can also put it in the chat box. Let us spend some time to understand what could be the reason. Yes. So that we can simply copy. What could be the reason? What do you think, all of you?
Maybe
Above
they
us.
standardize the process. They follow a methodology where the variation are getting eliminated from the process. So they follow a standard one, which no one can fail in that. Or
Excellent, excellent. I think all of us should clap for this answer. Excellent, really excellent answer.
Yeah.
They follow as highly standardized process. Whether you do it or me do it or someone else is doing it, the process is standardized to the extent that the result is same always. Yes or no?
Yes.
It's standardized to that extent. So the first thing we all should do in our organization is standardize nothing but a step by step activities that will be happening in a particular sequence, and that will ensure the outputs are always as expected, no matter whoever does this process, whoever does these steps. You could easily understand the kind of people involved in the process, isn't it? Dabbawalas, you might have seen in my screen. Even some young people are also there, some very old people are also there. Can you see a variation in the age? But that variation is controlled by your process. Highly standardized. The purpose of standardization is to control the variation that can populate from various factors. One factor is age. All the people, they differ in terms of education. They differ in terms of mode of travel. Isn't it? Somebody uses a bicycle, somebody goes by train, somebody goes by auto, somebody uses some other kind of vehicle. All these sources of variation are arrested at the source, its source level. Nothing affects your result. Can you see that? The simple reason is all of them follow a highly standardized process. And they have been, or maybe they have been trained. And over and above, the process is made very, very simple to all the people. The process is made simple, isn't it? Just some kind of numbers, some symbols, some color codings. With the help of that, though I'm not a graduate, I could still understand, whose lunchbox it is, where should I deliver it, and when should I deliver it, and I perform the task perfectly. I'm not a graduate. I'm not a postgraduate. I'm not a Six Sigma green belt or a black belt. So one is the process is standardized. At the same time, the other one is it is very simple in nature. You all should also do that. First standardize, then find ways to simplify it. If you simplify it, your people will understand it very easily and execute the process easily and produce the result effortlessly. Yes or no? There is no point of complicating a process and making your people to struggle through it. And then, obviously failure is expected. So very good point. One good reason. Any other reasons? A standardized process. Very, very beautiful point. The first thing that should happen is standardization. Of course, there are next level improvements. Process control is also required. Process standardization and then process control. Time to time, you need to monitor whether people are following the process, sticking to the standards, yes or no. Otherwise, slowly they will violate everything. Initially, we tried to control the variation across all the factors. Now we are going to control the variation over a period of time, isn't it? Because time, if you allow, if you don't have an effective control measure, then what will happen over time? Things can deteriorate. Say, for example, what do you call, your machines can undergo wear and tear due to passage of time, isn't it? So people can get tired. Like here also the training program, if it is 7 to 10, yes, it is manageable. If we keep the session from 7 to 12, and definitely it is unmanageable, isn't it? After 10 o'clock, it is difficult to stay energetic. So fatigue can come and play. So some control measures are certainly required so that you continue to control the variation even over a longer period of time. That is known as process control. Are you with me? First thing is process standardization. The second thing is process control. If you continue to do this, you can produce consistent results. The whole business becomes predictable, sustainable, and you achieve the growth at the rate you desire, desirable growth rate. Do you understand all the three? Predictable. Why, how your business has become predictable now? Because you have standard, you follow standard procedure and you have control measures in place. So business becomes predictable, sustainable. Your results can be sustained over a longer period of time. And tomorrow you want to multiply your result. That is also possible. You can even scale up because you are consistently doing it, in a smaller scale. Why not do the same thing in a larger scale? Possible. The scalability also become possible, right? So this is the kind of advantage an organization will get if the Six Sigma principles are understood. And there are many other reasons for the success, and we all could see the reasons in the chat box. Definitely, we should follow all of these things in our workplace also. Discipline, principle, team coordination, dedication, planning, strategic planning, networking, coordination, everything. Everything, a bit of everything is required. All of you agree with me? You can't say, no, I'll follow only this and then I succeed. No, a bit of everything is required. You are very, very correct. And more than that, system approach. All of these things put together is known as system approach. Yes or no? Coordination, planning, and communication, your process. Everything together is known as a system. Right? System thinking is also important. Once you understand the system, you will certainly understand how you are connected to you are connected with the system, how you are actually, part of the system, and how important your role will be. If you are not able to understand what you call the system nature, and obviously, then that's the time, we see all sort of, poor cooperations. Like sometimes what happens is one department will not be willingly, coordinating with the other department, but actually a coordination is required. Why this is happening? Because they lag in terms of the system thinking. Because the result requires a contribution from each element of the system. Yes or no? Result requires contribution from each element of the system. A car can function properly if and only, each and every part of the car is in proper condition, isn't it? How many parts a car might have?
More than 1,000.
Several thousand parts, isn't it? Even the function of a small nut and bolt is very important. If that's not doing its part, probably, the entire system might also collapse. The best example for a system is the highly sophisticated, even highly complex system is human body. All of you agree with me?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's capable of, it's much more capable of, what we think about it. Highly sophisticated, and you just think there are many things happen, isn't it? So, very complex system, and it has several subsystem in it. Like it has got a digestive system, it has got a nervous system, it has got a respiratory system, several other systems. Everything together is known as a big system. All right, the overall system. Now, inside system, you have subsystem, and inside the subsystem, there are parts. There are process, set of actions that happens in a sequenced manner, so that always, it produces result in a very stable manner. Whatever we spoke. Consider, a small activity we normally do. Anything we eat, our body is capable of digesting it, isn't it? And converts the food into the energy for the body, right? So there is a digestion process which we are talking about. Now tell me, in the digestion process, What are all the parts involved in it? What are,
Intestine,
yeah, your, yeah, somebody said,
intestine,
yeah,
intestine,
intestine is involved. What else is involved?
and the
Stomach is,
fluic acid which digests that,
yes,
and
some acid is required. Stomach, somebody says stomach, yes, stomach is required. Without stomach, you can't. Yeah, yeah, mouth is required, isn't it? Very important.
Enzymes.
Yeah, some enzymes are required.
the main thing
Yes,
is the heart function, the blood circulation, because without that the function will not happen. So the blood flow, the circulation is very
everything
important.
is required. Yeah, everything is required. And
So
let
the
us consider
components are
about the,
very large components which makes this digestive function active. So we cannot define this as main stuff. So maybe
I fully
both are.
agree. I fully agree. Even everything is no required. The considering the major elements or parts that are no responsible for the digestive system. Your mouth is certainly important. How about your hand? Hand is
Of
also
course.
important. How about
Yeah.
your eyes? That also helps you to locate the food, isn't it? Even your nose to certain extent. And then a process. The moment the food goes inside your mouth, then your teeth breaks it into smaller parts, isn't it? Then saliva is getting mixed up. There are certain things in your control, there are certain things beyond your control. Yes or no? Once the food crosses this part, now you lose the control, isn't it?
You're right.
Don't worry about the uncontrollables. Don't
Yes.
worry about the uncontrollable. But you should certainly worry about the controllable, isn't it? You should consciously put the food into your mouth. If you put the
Yes.
all the junks inside, then definitely that will cause diseases. You put the good food, yes, obviously it becomes an energy. Very good. Now just coming to the system thinking again. Imagine one of the part involved is not willing to cooperate. What will happen to your whole process? It will get collapsed, yes or no?
Yes.
Let's say your eye
Yes.
is not helping you. Suddenly your eye don't want to help you. Now it's difficult for you to even locate the food, yes or no?
Yes.
So it
Yes.
will
Let's
malfunction.
say
Yes, sir.
let's
Yeah.
say your hand is not willing to cooperate.
We cannot eat. Able to eat.
Yeah. So animals eat without the hands. So the same thing will be applicable in any organization. If there are system, every element of the system should understand we are part of the system. Yes or no? We are part of the system and we are responsible for a certain specified task, and we must do it to our fullest ability. Otherwise, it can be a failure of a complete system. So we need to have the proper system thinking, process thinking, and then we will be able to achieve this level of performance. So everything is needed, as you all rightly mentioned: the teamwork, communication, coordination, some kind of numbering, some kind of color coding, all that are required, and that's why they are able to achieve this level of performance, what is known as one mistake out of 16 million. And to say a performance as a Six Sigma performance, I have already written it on my slide. Only 3 or 4 defects are allowed out of
1 million.
1
1 million.
million opportunities. Now, the traditional Dabbawalas, they proved their capability. Okay, because through the article we come to know. We are not part of it, but through the article, we understand they are ahead of the Six Sigma capability. Now I am showing you the modern Dabbwalas. Similar kind of service they do, but the difference is they bring your food from the hotel of your choice, right? Otherwise, it's more or less same. Do you think they also perform above the Six Sigma capability or below the Six Sigma capability? What is your guess here? What do you think? They also perform above Six Sigma capability, or do you think they perform below Six Sigma capability?
Below.
Certainly below, because you are experiencing several failures with them, right? Several defects. What are the defects you actually face when you avail their services?
Because of traffic and delay.
Delay.
Yeah, delay. Whether it is traffic or no, that's immaterial to the customer. It can be purposely delayed thing, or it can be the delay by the hotel, or it can be delay by the traffic. The root cause we are not interested. We will analyze later. But to the customer, the what do you call the defect is one defect is delayed delivery. They make a commitment, something food will be delivered in 30 minutes, but it doesn't arrive within 30 minutes. If the commitment is delivering food within 30 minutes. Now tell me, once they say, no, we will deliver the food within 30 minutes, that means maximum tolerable or waiting time is 30 minutes. That becomes the upper specification.
Hmm.
And lower specification, no, any smaller time is okay. Even 0 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So theoretically, 0 is lower specification. Upper
30 is
specification is
upper.
30 minutes. If the food arrives within this time, within this interval, there is no defect here. If the food arrives after 30 minutes, there is a defect. Customer now has a chance to, cancel the order and return the food. And he can even claim a refund, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's very important for all of us to understand the customer requirement and also measure how are we performing with respect to each of the requirement. Am I correct? It's very, very important for us to understand the customer requirement, whether it's a product or a service we are offering. We need to understand customer requirement. What is more important than understanding customer requirement is ability to measure our performance against each of the requirement. Now, please tell me, what is that I should do to understand whether I am delivering the food within the committed time or not? Can you tell me what should I do now? If I am kind of Swiggy or Zomato delivering food, what should I do? What should I measure?
Feedback, customer feedback.
Okay, that is one way I agree. You can always make a call to each and every customer and ask them, sir, has your food arrived on time or not? Isn't it? That is one way. This is indirect method.
Monitoring the timing.
Yeah, I appreciate this answer. Follow the indirect method if direct method is not possible. But direct method is possible, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why do you want to ask your customer if you can measure directly? Which is best approach? Measure yourself. The moment customer places an order, your system is capable of capturing the time, yes or no? The
Yes.
moment customer goes
Yes, sir.
closer to the customer or deliver the food, that time also customer, your system can capture. If your system
Yes.
can directly capture, you collect the information from your system itself. Why do you want to rely on survey? Sometimes, if the customer is not in a good mood, he can give false information also, yes or no?
Yes.
So the chance of bias is also there. You should be aware of it. I'm not saying that every customer will give false information, but few customers can even give false information. Yes, sir. So if you don't have bias to be part of the information, to be part of the data, you should consciously control it. So if the direct measurement is possible, go for it. That should be your first choice. Then only you become data driven. Otherwise, you will become opinion driven. Six Sigma is a data driven approach. You must proactively measure your performance. Now that I have the start time, I have the end time. The time lapsed between start and end time. I want to give it a name. Can you give a beautiful name for it? The time lapsed between receipt of the order and delivery of the food.
Handling
What
time.
can you? Yes.
OTD.
Turnaround time.
Handling
Right.
time.
Turnaround
Lead
time
time.
is a good name.
Transaction.
On-time delivery.
Straightforward. Yeah, so many names. All of you are correct only. But I want to be, we keep the discussion very, very simple. Already one participant requested, right? So it's a delivery time. That's all. Delivery time. Delivery time in minutes. If the average delivery time is less than 30 minutes, almost all majority of my customers are now happy.
So
If
I
the
have
delivery
one
time,
doubt here. Sorry to barge
yes,
in.
sir, please.
So,
Yeah, please. No
so
problem.
here we say the system-driven the metrics or the measurement what we are defining will give you the exact output on
Yes.
how we are performing, right? In
Yeah.
other way, for example, if we take the Zomato and Swiggy, it already has the time running captures in the app that it has been picked up, it has been delivered, and this is the
Yes.
average handling time. So that will already help us to see that in what way we are delivering or what way we are performing. We have the metrics in place.
Correct.
In
Correct.
addition to that, we also getting an measurement of getting feedback from the customer that is that delivered on time. So if we have two kind of metrics in place to compare the performance, that will be again a question mark and an hindrance to evaluate and what way we are really performing, right? So ideally it should be one measurement which is agreed and that should be set as an goal to measure your performance rather having multiple set of metrics or data or a measurement point. So maybe, I mean, is that right? Or maybe you
True,
can
true,
correct
true.
me.
You are perfect. You are very well, perfectly correct. See, we want to be effective. We want to be error-free. It doesn't
Right.
mean that we can also be inefficient. No.
Yeah.
Try to be effective, but don't compromise on your efficiency. You have to be cost efficient also, isn't it? So if you could get the information direct, through the direct measurement, and then there is no point of asking the same thing in your survey also.
Indirect. Okay.
Yeah, not required, not required. But for some sake of validation, for a shorter period of time, you can do that. But that should not be part of your process.
So we need to be
Rarely,
so defined that only which way is good for the process is direct or indirect. If
yeah,
direct is available,
direct
let's
is
not go
always
for an
better.
indirect. Yeah. Okay.
Direct is always better.
Yeah.
If direct measurement is not possible, if measurability is weak, then only we should depend on the survey. Otherwise, always measure directly.
And
So
even
the
in that
delivery
direct
time,
measurement is that we need to focus on the system driven one or a manual calculation because manual might go wrong. If we focus on the system driven metrics, maybe that will be more accurate to calculate the performance, right?
yeah, you raised the question, you gave the answer also. Yes, we need accurate information. We need accurate information. If system-driven data are more accurate, then why should we rely on the manual data collection?
Yeah.
Wherever such possibilities are not there, that's the time we actually measure manually. So system-driven is always better. So now what the point here is the metric that can help us to understand our performance against the customer requirement is delivery time. And it's not the full requirement, it's just one requirement. Timely delivery is one requirement. There are many other requirements. The packaging should be properly packed. It should not have any leakage. And somebody should not open in between. And the item inside should be as per my order. So my neighbor's order should not be delivered to me. And all of these things are other requirements. But we are concerned about one particular requirement, timely delivery. What is the metric we can look at? Delivery time. If we are taking care of the delivery time, the one of the requirement is taken care. So the metrics that can help us to understand our performance with respect to a specific customer requirement is known as CTQ, right? A metric that can help us to understand our performance with respect to a specific requirement of a customer. Such metric is known as what? CTQ. I'll write it for you.
Okay.
Such metric is known as CTQ. What does it stand
Yeah.
for?
Critical
Critical
to
to quality.
quality.
So you have to understand all the CTQs when you are dealing with a product or a service. The first thing you should know is you should understand all the CTQs involved in your product or service. Are you with me on this? And each and every CTQ or each and every requirement must be made measurable, right? Made measurable, then so that we can call it as critical to quality characteristics or metric. When I say something as a metric, the target is, first thing is it is measurable. Second thing is the target is very clear. The third thing is that tolerable limits are also very clear. Now, as far as the delivery time is concerned, what is the target? What is the target?
30 minutes.
30 minutes. 30 minutes is the maximum tolerable limit.
Hmm.
So your process should not be targeting 30 minutes. It should be targeting something, earlier. Then only, even if something goes wrong, like some traffic or all of these things suddenly place, then also you will be delivering within the tolerable limit. Do you get my point?
Yes.
So
Yes, yes.
target should be well inside the tolerable limit.
Yes.
And in this case, the lower the better. Right? If you develop a process so that deliveries can be effected in just 10 minutes, none of the order will get a delayed delivery. Because customers are okay to tolerate 30 minutes for any item. But you developed a process in a way that you could deliver in less than 10 minutes. That means literally the chance of delayed delivery is almost zero. Yes or no?
Hmm.
Yes.
This is what
Yes, sir.
we call it, a Six Sigma capability. Even though the customer has given a tolerance, I don't have any intention of consuming all the tolerance. My intention is completely different. I want to be, perfect, perfect to the extent possible. If I could do everything in 10 minutes, I will actually strive to do that. So what happens when my intention is to deliver within 10 minutes, even if something goes wrong, I will be comfortably delivering within the committed time. That is the idea. So delivery time is one metric or first CTQ we have understood. In this manner, every requirement should be converted into a measurable metric. Sometimes what happens, certain situation, you may not be able to find a measurable metric. In that case, at least try to be specific in terms of the requirement. Try to be specific in terms of the requirement. Why? If it is specific, at least you can include it in the survey, yes or no? Either it should be directly measurable, or at least it should be specific enough so that you can at least ask the customer how it happened. Am I right?
Right.
So,
Yes, sir.
whenever possible, convert the requirement into specific. On top of it, if you can also measure it, beautiful. If you can also measure it yourself, it's beautiful scenario. Wherever the direct measurement is not possible, you can include a question in the survey and then measure your performance indirectly. Hope all of you now understand how to measure our performance with respect to a customer requirement. It related to a product or a service. In one product, there can be hundreds of requirement. In one service, there can be hundreds of requirement. You have to find out appropriate metrics for each and every requirement. If there are hundreds of CTQs or hundreds of measurable metrics, you must take care of all of them to say that you are offering a quality product or to say that you are offering a quality service. Because even if you don't take care of one of the requirement, that will appear as a quality gap in the customer side. Yes or no? Very good. So with that understanding, let us move on. Now, there are so many defects or failures possible with respect to Swiggy or Zomato. First thing we talked in detail, late delivery. The second one can be wrong delivery, wrong item. You ordered a vegetarian menu, but some non-vegetarian item is delivered. Possible. Sometimes, they deliver a wrong parcel to you. Isn't it? And here measurability is difficult, but you can ask a question. Isn't it? Survey. You have to define what is wrong item or what is missing item. And tamper proof, right? Tamper proof. And somebody should not open on the way. And it should be sealed packaging. Nothing should come out. All the liquid item or whatever, no, that should not get mixed up. And the behavior of the delivery boy, he should be dressed properly, he should talk sensibly, isn't it? He should hand deliver the items and use a polite language.
Right.
And pricing strategies, technical issues. Sometimes I want to place the order, but my order is not getting accepted. It keeps on loading. I don't know. So see here, I have randomly written 7 points here. But when you are actually providing a service similar to Swiggy or Zomato, it is your complete responsibility to drill down everything into a measurable metric or express everything as a specific requirement. If you do that exercise, the list can run into 100 plus, yes or no? See here, I have written delivery by behavior. But inside delivery by behavior, there are several aspects. First of all, he should be dressed properly. Number two, he should always deliver the item at the doorstep. He should not call you to the street corner and then deliver there. Rather, he should come to your doorstep and deliver. Second thing, isn't it? The third thing, he has to use polite language if at all, a communication happens. So this one requirement is now drilling down to 3 specific requirements. Accordingly, you have to train your delivery boys. Accordingly, you need to train your delivery boys and side by side, ask a survey, conduct a survey very frequently with your customer and check which are all the delivery boys complying your requirement and which are all the delivery boys violating your guidelines. Accordingly, you can go on with the continual improvement. Hope all of you understand. Just because I have written 7, it doesn't mean that there are only 7 requirements. There can be much more. Yes or no? But for the sake of discussion, I'm going to consider only 7 as a requirement. 7 requirements. That means every single order, these 7 requirements have to be fulfilled. If the requirements are not fulfilled, it becomes a defect. So how many defects are possible in every order according to our discussion?
3 or 4.
7 defects are possible.
Yes.
These
They
are
are
all
known as
opportunities, right? These are all the opportunities.
that's what I want to say. So these are now known as defect opportunities. Maximum number of defects that can happen in my service is 7 only. Because I've listed everything proactively. When you join the online session, sometimes, you may run out of the proper connectivity. Failure can happen, isn't it? Sometimes what happens? The trainer may be talking at a very higher level or lower level, and finally you don't make out anything. This is another form of failure, isn't it? So you need to list down so that you can actually try to prevent. Now 7 is known. There are 7 opportunities for failure, or in other words, there are 7 defect opportunities. I want you to understand the meaning of defect opportunities. Do you know how many opportunities for defect exist in your product right now you are working? Very important, isn't it? Very, very important. If you want to talk in terms of quality, then this is the beginning of the quality. How many ways my product can fail? How many ways my service can fail? Right? You call it a non-conformance or you call it a defect, and there are 7 opportunities. Now let us take a scenario. Imagine you are the area manager. You are the area manager, right? And there are 7 opportunities we discussed. And in that area, every day, 1 lakh orders are getting processed. Now, what will be the total opportunities? Every order, there are 7 opportunities. And there are 1 lakh order in a day. So the total opportunities will be
7 lakhs.
7 lakhs.
It means if everything goes wrong, there will be 7 lakh mistakes happening every single day. Imagine the
Yes.
condition of your, customer support. They will be collapsed on the day. Same day, they will be getting collapsed. Isn't it? 7 lakh opportunities are there. Now it is your responsibility to ensure you arrest all of these opportunities through your effective process, system, and everything. Isn't it? You train your people, you have several resources using which you have to ensure all of these opportunities are arrested so that you can run a defect-free scenario. Are you with me, all of you? This is basically your responsibility. Make sure no failure happens when you deliver a product or deliver a service to your customer, whatever be the number. See here, look at the numbers here. Really big number, isn't it? 7 lakh, 1 lakh delivery a day. And you can't simply, control it, control the errors or the defects by having a people-centric approach. No, it's not possible at all. Isn't it? That's why, we have to be system-driven, process-driven. Hope it is clear to all of you. Now, let's assume a scenario where there are 15,000 complaints received at your customer support. On an average, every complaint talks about 2 defects. On an average, every complaint talks about 2 defects. So totally how many defects then? 15,000 into 2, 30,000.
30,000.
Now 30,000 is the number of defects. For this scenario, I want to calculate DPMO. You know defects one side, you know total opportunity other side. Defect is how many? 30,000. Total
30,000.
opportunity is how many? 7 lakh.
7 lakhs.
With this, will you be able to calculate defects per million opportunity?
Yes.
How? Simple calculation only. Tell me how, because I don't know mathematics. Mathematics is little allergic, right? So tell me, one of you please help me how
Your
to calculate
numerator,
DPM.
your numerator should be your number of defects,
Number of
And your-
defects divided by number of
and your
opportunities
denominator should be your number of opportunities,
into
which
total
gives
opportunity.
which gives you a percentage of defects affected.
Very good. Your numerator should be number of defects. Your denominator should be total number of opportunities, not
Opportunities.
opportunities, total number of opportunities.
Total
You should
number
have
of
received a chocolate for every answer you are giving. Since unfortunately we are connected online, so I cannot offer you a chocolate, but it's a good answer, right? Number of defects divided by total opportunities. So our defects in the numerator, total opportunities in the denominator. The resulting number is known as defects per opportunity. Yes or no?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Defects per opportunity. But what I want is defects per million opportunity.
We can convert into multiply into 1 million.
Cost per apple is known to you. Cost per apple is 1 rupee. Now I want to buy 1 million apple. What will be the total cost?
1 million.
1 million. So defects per opportunity is available. But I want to know defects per 1 million opportunity.
1 million.
So all that I need to do is multiply the DPO by 10 to the power of 6.
Mm,
What is 10 to the power of 6?
10 lakh.
1
Sorry.
million,
1
yes.
million.
Then, yeah, 10 lakh or 1 million.
Yes, yes,
both are
yes.
same. So that is what is done here. I will show my slides. You can cross check.
Sir, I have a small question.
Oh, sure. How to do
So what
this?
is why you are considering this million? Why not 10 million, 100 million? So what is the background of taking the common number as number of million for calculating anything?
In Six Sigma, the benchmark, what to say, performance is, in terms of DPMO, it should be 3.4. But you can always express it in other ways also. Sir, I'm not comfortable with DPMO. In fact, I have earlier included certain other metrics. Now, just now I removed, right? Yeah, I'm not comfortable with DPMO. I'm okay with, percentage of the defects.
So which one
Some
is good
companies follow PPM.
Hmm.
They don't follow DPMO. But what they follow? PPM.
Okay.
PPM means parts per million. Percentage rejection or percentage failure. See, everything has got little plus and minus. We need to understand. And then whichever you feel like, the best, you can follow that. Nothing wrong in it. Right? So you just wait for 2 more slides. Your question will be automatically answered. Right now in Six Sigma, we use this metric DPMO. Six Sigma approach introduced this metric DPMO, defects per million opportunity. The calculation part of it we have understood. Yes or no?
Okay.
Yes. And now tell me, will you be able to calculate DPMO for a real-time scenario with respect to your product or service, will you be able to calculate? Just now you learned, how to calculate DPMO. If I
Yes.
ask you to calculate DPMO for your process tomorrow, next week, before coming for the next class, if I ask you to measure your DPMO and find out what is whether you are also performing above Six Sigma level or below Six Sigma level, will you be able to do that?
Okay.
Lot of work required. Lot of work need to be done. You need to list down the CTQs. Big exercise. Product developers, they know how difficult it is, isn't it? All the customer requirements should be captured. They must be
Yes.
expressed in a measurable manner. Only then, they can think about the next stage, design. They can actually design the product or whatever it is. So, but now that, at least you are lucky, your product is already launched. Now, what are all the defects, that can happen? You need to list down and then consider a good period of time. Let's say for 1 week or 10 days, you wait, or one whole day. Just find out how many units you produced. That is possible. In one day, how many units you produce? 5,000, 6,000. It varies from company to company. Capacity, based on your capacity. And out of the 5,000 units you produced, how many defects actually happened? Will you be able to measure this?
Yes.
Yes, I
You
can do
know the
that.
defect opportunities, number of defect opportunities. If you also could measure the actual number of defects and the total units produced, now you can get a projection. If I continue the process, produce 1 million parts, how many defects I might have, produced? That will be DPMO. So all of you can do it. All of you can do it, right? Agree?
Yes,
You
yes.
Yes,
need to
agree.
know what are you doing, first of all. If you are confused in your offering itself, then there will be a big confusion here, definitely. You have to be very, very clear. What do you offer? What are the customer requirements? I am offering a product or a service, and what customer expects. I do all this exercise well in advance, and so I always know how am I performing. Now I'm going to simplify the whole task by introducing all of you to an AI tool, right? Because everywhere AI tools are used nowadays. Am I right? So nothing
Yeah.
wrong learning something which everybody is using. So I'm just going to, yes, I come here. So what is this software?
Chat GPT.
So Swiggy or Zomato, the number defect opportunities per delivery is how many? 7. Number of deliveries per day is how many?
1 lakh.
Is 1 lakh.
1 lakh.
And number of defects reported. How
15,000.
many according to our discussion?
15,000.
30,000.
No, 15,000 is complaints.
Okay.
30,000 is opportunities.
30,000 is actual defects committed.
Yeah.
Because
Sir-
on an average, I said 2 defects. Now I want ChatGPT to calculate the DPMO for me.
Sir, what is the actual mean of 15,000? 15,000 people are complaining about the related to services or
Yeah,
Zomato.
15,000 people are complaining, and somebody will say, just one mistake in their complaint. For
Okay.
me, food is delivered late. But for you, food is delivered late. And also, the items are not as per the order. There are 2 mistakes in your complaint.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Somebody else would have complained about 3 mistakes. So I am roughly taking average 2 defects per complaint. So total defect committed is 30,000. Okay.
So
Okay, sir.
one question here, is that we need to average out, or is that we need to go with the real data?
It's real data.
Real data.
So right
Real
now we
Real
say
data.
that 15,000 complaints received, out of which we say 2 defects, two defects in one order, like one
Yeah, 2
complaint.
per. Yeah, 2 per
So we are
complaint. Yeah, 2
averaging
defects.
out the 2 as an averaging out. So
Very correct.
if we have the real data, we need to see the real data, or is that we can Again, with
See
the
the
real
real
data, we
data
need to
only.
average it out, right? The
Yeah,
real data, we need to average it out.
yeah, you should not do like this. You should use the real data only.
Okay.
It need not be two in every, average. It need not
So
be two
here, just
complaint
for
in every hour.
understanding, we are averaging as
Yeah,
two,
yeah,
but
only
we
for
need to go.
understanding, yes. But normally your call center will be recording all the information, so you can understand the total number of defects straight away
Correct.
from them.
And the
But I
average.
am doing it this way. So I have given some prompt here so that ChatGPT can do the calculations for me. I don't want to, strain my brain. And now instead it is doing it for me.
Yeah.
Can you see the workout, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Job has become so simple, right? Nowadays.
Yes.
Yes.
We don't have to do anything, right? But we should know everything. That's very important. We should know everything, but we don't have to do everything, right? But just copy and then present the information, right? You can now sensitize your people or your team by saying that your DPMO is 42,857. What is this nonsense going on here? We have to bring this DPMO to below 3 or 4. We want an error-free performance, and we are at the very worst shape right now. Can you see that, all of you? The purpose or the intention of introducing this tool is to sensitize our people, if what will happen if we tolerate mistakes. If we tolerate mistakes and if we scale up our business, right now we are not producing 1 million and all. Hardly I produce 1,000 or 2,000 a day. But we convert the number into DPMO and then make our people aware of how things can go wrong when we scale up. Today my company is receiving only 1 lakh order. But after 6 months, how many orders will be receiving? Definitely a larger number.
should always increase.
So if you can't control things, when you are smaller, do you think you will be able to control when you become larger? No. So seeking perfection in the initial stages is really a great idea, isn't it? So that when you scale up, you will not get into any troubles. But suppose if you have grown and still there are minor mistakes happening here and there, those minor mistakes here and there itself can run into several thousands. And you can't sleep properly then, isn't it? So that's why, the perfection is required. Hope all of you understand how the DPMO is calculated and all that here, right? Any questions so far? You are able to follow me properly?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Very good. So,
So
okay.
my one,
So yeah, please. Yeah.
so you are saying ki we are collecting a data. So data is required only for the 1 day, or is something from week or month?
Just now in the beginning, Manivandan said, sir, process standard is required, right? Standardization. Then I said control is required. What is control? Your standard must be followed even over a longer period of time.
Okay, sir.
Whether people are following my standards or not, how do I know? I should continue collecting the data every day. There has to be a data collection as part of your daily work.
Okay, sir.
Otherwise, there is no guarantee whether they follow SOP or they follow something else. We don't know. Isn't
Okay,
it?
sir. Okay, sir.
So monitoring is definitely required. Then only control is possible. That is why I'm also suggesting all of you to come on camera. If you come on camera, I can monitor whether you are listening or you are uh, slowly getting into sleep mode. So
You have-
monitoring is important,
You have
right?
71 opportunities here.
Yes, exactly. There are 71 people can sleep now. So 71 opportunities. Yes, very good. So this is how our thinking goes when it comes to Six Sigma. Now
Okay.
now let's continue. Oh, yeah. Let me kind of share my complete screen and then go to the PPT. Yes. So now I'm going to take you through the next slide, which will show the relationship between which will show the relationship between the DPMO and the sigma level. This table is available even in Google, or you can also see it in our course material. See, as the DPMO decreases, your capability goes up. Yes or no? Your capability is measured in terms of sigma level. In terms of sigma level. See here, DPMO comes down, sigma level keeps improving. DPMO approaches, a single digit, you can see here. As the DPMO approaches single digit, your sigma level is approaching what? A round number 6. So 6 sigma means DPMO is 3.4. And on the third column, you see a metric known as CPK, which is known as Process Capability Index. Some of you might be aware of it, right? Otherwise, it can be a new metric, but no problem. This is nothing but a metric giving the same information. When your sigma level is 3, let us see where it is 3. Your CPK is 1. Can you see here? When your sigma level is 3, your CPK is 1. Similarly, when your sigma level is 6, your CPK will be 2.
1.9.
2. Sigma level divided by 3 can give you CPK. Am I right? For example, sigma level is 5. Divided by 3 is how much? 1.66666. Yes or no? So if you know any one of the metric, the other metric is immediately obtained. We know DPMO, come to the table, get the sigma level. If you know sigma level, divide by 3, you will get your CPK. Am I right? So CPK is nothing but Process Capability Index. People who are in automotive industry, yes, they should be very, very familiar about it.
Yes.
And what is the guideline? CPK should be minimum
1.6.
1.67. That means what is the
1.67.
sigma level? The standard requirement is 1.67 into 3? 5 sigma.
Nice.
I think 1.67 is an AIAG guideline. Yes or no? Automotive
Yes,
Industry Action Group guideline.
yes.
So the guideline is indirectly demanding you to operate at a 5 sigma capability. So we'll slowly understand all of those things. Now I'm going to show you an Excel sheet which I will also be sharing. So I'm sharing my complete screen. I'll share this Excel in the group, WhatsApp group. Yeah, Excel calculator. And this Excel sheet, all of you can retain it, by storing it in your computer. We'll be using it throughout the course. A lot of data is available in it. We'll be using it. So, and I go to the very first sheet of the Excel. So much data, all that you can use, right? Coming here. There is a format or template available here. Let me put the same thing here. Number of defects, just now we discussed 30,000. And number of sample means number of orders, 1 lakh. 1 lakh. And number of opportunities for error. They call it for error. Error, defect, both are same. What is our OFE? 7, right? When I give all this information and enter, immediately I'm getting some result. What is the DPMO? Is it the same? 42,857.
Yes.
And sigma level, corresponding sigma level 3.2. So once you know 42,857, go to the next table and type here 42,857. You type here. Now the sigma level is 3.22. You can see in the orange box, right? The formula, there is some formula in the background which you don't have to worry. So 42,857 corresponds to 3.2 sigma level. Now your management is not happy and you are given the responsibility to improve the process and bring down the defects rate. So you are putting some efforts. What kind of efforts you might be putting? You might be training your delivery boys. You might increase the number of delivery boys, yes or no? All of these things probably you might do. And you may advise the restaurants to finish off the orders. You may set target item wise. I don't know, possible. If a biryani is ordered, then you should be able to prepare it in less than 10 minutes. So some kind of norms slowly will be pushed. And so what happened? Your capability will keep moving up. Yes or no? So you did certain improvements. So what happened? 42,000 has now become 4,000. Are you noticing an improvement in the sigma level immediately? 3.22 has now becoming
4.15.
4 point. And your management is no insisting for further improvement. So you improved. Now it is just 400 defects happening. Now look at your sigma level, it's further improving, 4.85. And your management needs even further more improvement. Now the number of defects TPMO is reduced to 40. Now what happened to your sigma level? 5.44. Now you brought it to just 4, 5.97. You brought it to 3.4. Oh, sorry, here. 3.4. Now let's see what happened. So 3.4 DPMO corresponds to
6 sigma.
Six Sigma capability. Now all of you understand the definition of Six Sigma capability. Six Sigma capability means the DPMO is reduced to 3.4. This is the benchmark level of performance set by Motorola. Because Six Sigma was introduced by Motorola, isn't it? Six Sigma was introduced by the American company Motorola in 1987. That time, they did some statistical analysis and found that if you bring up the capability of a process to 6 sigma or above, then the defects can certainly be reduced to 3 or 4 out of 1 million. Are you with me? This is applicable for all kind of process. Okay. So now let us move on. Full screen.
So this template, this calculator template, will that be shared? Because maybe
Yeah, I will be sharing. I will be sharing because I'll be using this data very often. And slowly I will expect you also to work parallelly with me, right? And you should not struggle to open the Excel or all that should not happen.
since that
So
formula, the calculation was not aware. I'm not aware of that. So it'll be easy if we can
no
share
problem. You
that.
can use that. You can use the same template. I'll be sharing it with all of you.
Thank
Maybe
you.
towards the end, I'll put it in the chat box here as well as in the WhatsApp group. But slowly you should understand, if you are, for example, you can't do everything in mobile phone,
Yeah,
isn't it? Yeah.
that's for sure. Yeah.
So you should make yourself comfortable so that you can learn more. Once you actually start using all the tools, you will feel more and more confident. No doubt. I'll be sharing. So for every product, there are certain CTQs. See here, these are nothing but the CTQs for an electric car. Agreed?
Yes.
And CTQs for a tire manufacturing company, Apollo tire or MRF tire or whatever. You see so many CTQs. Not everybody can understand everything. It is not possible. But you should know your CTQs. That is very important. You can't say, I don't know what is my product. You should not say. You should be knowing, isn't it? For your product or your service. Let's say you are going to, you want to buy a loan from a bank. What are the CTQs there? You will certainly look at certain metric before buying a loan, isn't it?
Yeah, your
Let's say it's
CIBIL score.
a personal loan for 20 lakhs. What are the metrics you want to look at before making a decision?
Your source of
CIBIL
income, your
score.
CIBIL score,
Score.
What is that?
your source of income, your CIBIL score,
No,
your liability.
please note, your source of income is required for the bank. Now I want you to think as a customer, right? I am
Customer.
buying a loan from a bank.
Interest,
Interest
tenure.
rate is a metric. If a bank is charging you more interest, your satisfaction will go down.
Yeah.
So interest rate should be within a particular slab. That slab, as a bank, the bank must understand, and so customer, requirement can be met. So interest rate, and then the time taken to process your loan, yes or no?
Yeah. And
if
the
they collect all
processing
the application
charges.
and then, make you to come to the bank 100 times and then say, no, we don't want. We want our application to be processed within a shorter span of time.
Yeah.
Right? And number of documents they collect, that is also a CTQ, yes or no? If they are asking for hundreds of documents, you will even leave the idea of borrowing the loan. Let me put my own money only. This many documents I don't want to give, right? So can you see CTQs here while borrowing a loan also? A bank also has CTQs. They need to work on the CTQs. Whichever bank that handles the CTQs well, obviously will penetrate faster in the market. Yes or no?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Very good. So CTQs are applicable in all industries, no matter which segment you are. A software developer should also know the CTQs. You are developing a software and see here system response time should be less than 2 seconds. Whenever I want to open your software should be available for use in less than 2 seconds. If it keeps on loading, probably customer satisfaction will get affected. So see here, the application must have 100% compliance with respect to the open web application security project or security standards, right? So there are numbers available, very simple. There are numbers available which needs to be met to ensure the customer satisfaction. Right. Now this slide talks about the difference between defectives and defect opportunities. I already taught you what is defect opportunity. Correct? Very true. And I already taught you what is a defect. Can somebody define what is a defect? If you are given an opportunity to define the word defect, then what will be your one-line definition?
Sir, not fit for use for customer or me.
The affected or damaged area or
Failures.
Meeting the
that's
CTQ.
defective.
Failures is defect.
Very good. Or
Not
not
meeting
meeting
the
the CTQ. Somebody said not meeting a CTQ. Yes, that's a defect. I agree. Very in simple words, any form of non-conformance. Any form of non-conformance to customer requirement. Any form of non-conformance to customer requirement is a defect. If you are okay with this,
Not meeting the requirement.
yeah, not meeting the requirement. Yeah. Or let me slightly modify it. Any form of non-conformance with respect to a specific requirement of a customer. Because there can be several requirements, isn't it? You cannot be broader while defining, a defect. You have to be very specific. What exactly is the defect? Right? So a form of non-conformance with respect to a specific requirement of a customer is known as a defect. If you understand this basic definition, you will be able to apply the principles in all domains. No matter whether you are into manufacturing or you are into service or whatever. Even if, do you think an accounts officer can use this principle? Can an accounts officer find defects in his report?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
I am an auditor. I prepare your balance sheet. There are in 10 places I made a mistake. Each one is a defect. My revenue is calculated wrongly. My profit is calculated wrongly. Right? My sales mentioned wrongly. All of
Those
these
are
things.
my CTQs. Yeah.
Yeah, all of them are the CTQs, the non-conformances. So if you understand the basic definition, yes, they can be applied, in all domains. Now, I want you to have a proper understanding or the difference between defect and defective. Can somebody help me define differentiate the terms defect and defective so that we can quickly move on to the next slide.
Defect is a defect in one product and defective is
Defect in one product, but defective is in multiple products. No,
defect.
that is not bringing the needed
defects
clarity.
in one product.
Multiple defects in one product is known as
Defective.
Effective.
defective. Okay.
For example, we'll take that older version like orders, the compliance will have multiple defects. So the compliant is called defective, and the multiple defects in that mean maybe the multiple miss in CTQs is called as defects.
Correct. Your definition is correct. Let me break it down, right? Imagine you want to make a hole, you want to drill a hole for 10 mm, and your operator has made a hole for 7 mm. The requirement is 10 mm as per the spec, but our operator made only 7 mm hole. Now what happened? A defect has happened or a defective has happened?
Defective has happened. The whole product is
It is
defective.
a defect.
Defect.
It's a defect.
Yes.
You can rework and correct it.
Yes. Can be recoverable.
7 mm hole can be made to 10 mm. But what is happening now? Rework is happening.
Yes.
Rework is happening, and rework is possible, and defect is rectifiable. So it's good to call it as a defect. Right? Another scenario. The operator, the requirement is 10 mm, but the operator drilled the hole for 15 mm.
It is non-usable. It is called as a defective.
Yeah. Now you can't rework. Now the
No,
possibility
yes.
of the rework is not there. So you decide to reject the part completely. The part that is rejected completely is known as a defective part. Why we rejected it? There is one or more defects which are uncorrectable in nature. Do you understand? So the term defective is always applicable to the whole part, right? But defect, there can be even more than one defect in a single product. But number of defective is always one per product, one per unit, right? 10 units if you are checking, at the maximum you can reject all the 10. But even with the 10 parts, the number of defects can be more than 10. Are you with me? Defect means a non-conformance, but it can be reworked and corrected. But defective means there is a non-conformance, but we can't correct it. So the part will be rejected. Clear?
Yes, clear.
Yes.
Yes, sir, clear.
Very good. Very good. Okay. So now tell me. 1 minute. So now tell me. So far we talked about Six Sigma, right? So Six Sigma means our intention is to prevent the defect. Is that clear?
Mm.
Clear.
Yes.
And we
Clear.
want to bring our capability to the level of 3.4 DPMO, almost zero defects. Yes or no?
Yes.
Out
Yes.
of 1 million opportunities, only 3 or 4 defects are permissible according to Six Sigma standards, almost zero. So Six Sigma is an approach with the primary focus on preventing defects. How? By controlling variation. Right? Straight away, Manivanan helped me to use the word variation. Otherwise, it is difficult to use the word variation. Because if I don't control the variation properly, you know what will happen? Defects will happen easily. But if I control the variation properly, defects cannot happen easily. Isn't it? So, Six Sigma is an approach to prevent the defects by effectively controlling the variation. Whenever you follow this principle, your project is a Six Sigma project. Very simple. Whenever you follow this principle, or your project is, focus of your project is defect reduction or defect prevention. Defect reduction or defect prevention. Then your project is a Six Sigma project. And how do we measure our capability in terms of DPMO, in terms of Sigma level, or in terms of CPK, or in terms of rejection rate? If a process is operating at Six Sigma capability, the rejection rate will be very, very close to zero. That means the acceptance rate will be 99.999666%. Very close to 100%. What did I say? 99.3 times 9,
996.
3 times 6. So all of these things are nothing but measure of your process effectiveness. Very simple. Our focus is on improving the effectiveness. Whenever you focus on improving the effectiveness of your process and hence the system, your approach can be named as Six Sigma approach. Very simple. All of you, are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a process level approach. It's a process level approach. Any process will have input, set of actions, and then output. In Six Sigma, the focus is on the output. I want to see the output without defects. No defects are permissible in my output. Rarely, like 3.4 is okay. Where is our focus? Our focus is on output.
Output.
We are trying to maximize the output, more output. That is our goal. That is Six Sigma. Hope this is understood by all of you, right? Process means input, output, and in between set of activities. Your set of activities is nothing but your process, which is highly standardized, always monitored, controlled. So what happens? The input is always converted into the desired form of output, which is your product or a service. And it's very rare to see a problem in the output. That such process are known as effective process. In Six Sigma, the focus is on producing defect-free output, error-free performance. Hope it is very, very clear to all of you. So now I want to give all of you a small break so that you will continue to listen to me properly. The standard, should be followed till 10 o'clock, right? So it's a control mechanism to ensure you stay properly connected, right? Okay. So we'll take a 10 minutes break and then continue after 10 minutes.
Sure.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Great. So we have
Yes,
understood
sir.
what is Six Sigma. So Six Sigma is an approach, right? It's a philosophy, right? By which we try to prevent all defects. We try to prevent all defects by effectively controlling the variation through standardization of process and control of the process. If needed, we'll go to the extent of even modifying our process. Modifying our process is known as process improvement. There are three things, right? Process standardization, process control, process improvement. This is what Juran, a famous quality guru, he call it as trilogy. There are three areas by which we deliver quality to our customer. One is quality planning, another one is quality control, the third one is quality improvement. At the process level, they are process standardization, process control, and then process improvement. Now let's understand what is lean. So I'm sharing my screen. So in Six Sigma is a process approach where our focus is on the output. Output should be defect free, isn't it? That is the focus. We call it as effectiveness. When it comes to lean, our focus changes to the input. Means how much input is consumed to produce the required output. Do you understand? How much input is consumed to produce the required output. If you consume more input, it means you are inefficient. Am I right? If you consume more input, let's say you consume more raw material, or you consume more machine hours, man hours, more electricity, everything is excessively consumed. You become inefficient. So the
It can
primary,
be number of steps involved. Maybe,
yes,
it
exactly.
depends
Yeah,
upon the industry we are
exactly.
performing, right? Okay. Yeah.
Exactly. Number of steps are more, whereas a better process exists with fewer steps. But you still follow a process, with more steps. So that is also a form of inefficiency. My intention here is to help all of you understand waste is a form of inefficiency, right? In lean, the focus is on the efficiency. In Six Sigma, the focus is on the effectiveness. Effectiveness means defect-free output. Efficiency means optimal consumption of resources. Are you with me, all of you? Effectiveness
Yes, sir.
means defect-free output. Efficiency means optimal consumption of resources. What do I mean by optimal consumption of resources? Resources are consumed in the required quantity. Lean should not be misunderstood as, cost cutting. It is not a cost cutting approach. We are not eliminating people. We are not, cutting down the cost. We are only cutting down the excessive consumption of the resources. Are you with me?
Yes.
Why? If I cut down the excessive consumption of the resources, I will become more efficient. If I become more efficient, I can always conduct the session with just 10 people also. But luckily, God's grace, we have 70 people here. Isn't it? So we are certainly efficient here, isn't it? So the idea here is your operating cost will go down, yes or no? If you are more efficient, your operating cost will go down. In Six Sigma, if you produce a defect-free output, you can literally sell everything you are producing. That is also good. I am not at all, rejecting anything. Everything, I produce, I am raising an invoice. And lean is helping me to minimize my operating cost. Six Sigma is helping me to produce more output. The end result will be maximization of profit. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Six Sigma is reducing defects by controlling the variation. Lean is reducing the resource consumption by cutting down the excessive part, right? The excessive consumption of resource is termed as inefficiency. Whenever an inefficiency happens, you can call it as waste. Whenever inefficiency happens, you can call it as waste. Sometimes the waste is also termed as non-value adding. Consider a
Non-value
non-value
added.
adding. Consider a non-value adding. An operator is doing a work, but nothing happens. He is only adjusting a machine continuously 10 minutes. But nothing happens, isn't it? Because he's simply adjusting the machine for 10 minutes. And what kind of output produced now? Nothing. So can I call this as a non-value adding? Yes or no? Now what is wasted here? The man hour is wasted.
Yes.
The machine hour also wasted. Somehow, you should have designed your process in a way that the adjustments are minimal, not to the extent of 10 minutes. It can be just, few seconds. So the fundamental definition holds good, isn't it? Even to the non-value adding. So non-value adding activity means a form of inefficiency. Another way of defining waste is something, an activity that doesn't drive customer satisfaction. It doesn't drive customer satisfaction. If I am doing something and you are actually, getting satisfied, then what I am doing is value adding. Right? Sometimes what happens, we will be doing a work and customer will be frustrated by the work. Then our work is a waste. Agreed? Because what I do is actually leading to customer dissatisfaction, customer frustration. Right? like I'm delivering late or I am supplying you a defective part, then all of them will lead to customer dissatisfaction. In lean, we call in all the activity that lead to customer dissatisfaction as wasteful activity or non-value adding activity. Another category of activity that don't cause dissatisfaction, at the same time, it will not drive satisfaction also. Do you understand? It is not making any impact, no satisfaction, no dissatisfaction. What it is then? Tell me. I'm doing a work, it doesn't impact the satisfaction. At the same time, it doesn't cause dissatisfaction. Now what am I doing? I am still doing a wasteful activity. Am I right?
Yeah.
Non-value added activity.
That is also non-value adding. That means the activity should drive the satisfaction. Because if it drives the satisfaction, customer can happily pay from the packet. If it is not giving any satisfaction, customer will certainly think, why should I pay now? So you need to understand what is a waste. There are several definitions I'm giving here. Waste means a form of inefficiency. It's a non-value adding activity. It is an activity that either drives dissatisfaction or do not drive satisfaction. Right? But then certain activity drives satisfaction. They are known as value adding. Okay. So in lean, our idea is to identify and eliminate all forms of waste or all forms of inefficiency. Inefficiency is equal to waste.
I have one
Inefficiency
doubt.
is, yeah, please.
Sorry to barge in. Maybe correct me if I'm wrong, or maybe another way. So is that, I mean, my understanding is that any which way that the lean is supporting to achieve the Six Sigma performance, because in Six Sigma we talk about the CTQs where it talks about quality and all those stuff. So this lean, when we eliminate the wastage or the excessive thing, which will indirectly or directly supports to achieve our CTQs, which will help us to achieve this Sigma level performance.
Yeah, I'll come to that point. See, in Six Sigma, we are concerned about effectiveness.
Correct.
In lean, we are concerned about efficiency. Now, the second level of understanding, when you are taking care of efficiency through lean, you should ensure you are not compromising on the effectiveness. That means improve on the efficiency without compromising on the effectiveness. When you are implementing Six Sigma, you improve on the effectiveness without compromising on your existing efficiency. That is why Lean and Six Sigma support each other. That is the reason why Lean and Six Sigma got integrated nowadays. They can go hand in hand very well. One can complement the other. So hereafter, the definition of Six Sigma is the focus is to improve the effectiveness without compromising the efficiency. That means enhance the quality without compromising on the operating cost. They are going to do the same thing, but only thing is we deliver more quality now. Right? We are not going to overspend anything. Right? When it comes to the lean, the focus is on improving or enhancing the efficiency without compromising the effectiveness. We are going to bring down the operating cost. It doesn't mean that we are compromising on the quality. Very, very important. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, in any business process, there are 7 types of waste exist according to another quality guru from Toyota, Taichi Ono. He says there are 7 types of waste. You can remember the 7 types of waste easily by knowing this acronym. Tim Wood, I'll write it for you.
Yes, sir.
TMWOOD, where T stands for Transportation waste. I stands for inventory.
Inventory.
M stands for motion waste.
Motion.
W stands for waiting waste.
Waiting.
O stands for waste of overproduction. Another O stands for over processing. And finally, the D stands for defects. In Six Sigma, we spoke about defects, isn't it? In Lean also, we are speaking about defects. In Lean, defect is considered as a subset of waste. Okay? Defect is considered as a subset of waste. In Six Sigma, waste is considered as a subset of defect. We call all failures as defects in Six Sigma. We call all failures as waste in Lean. Otherwise, they are same. Are you with me on this? Very good. Now, let us understand all these 7 types of waste one by one. What is transportation waste? Imagine you have to catch an flight tomorrow morning, early morning. So you book a taxi today. And the taxi comes, and then you reach the airport on time, and now you happily pay to the taxi fellow. 1,000 rupees is the charge. Now, can you see a transportation here? What is the transportation here? You have moved from your house to airport. From one place, you move to other place.
Yes.
One point, you have moved to other point.
Point.
And are you willing to pay for this? You normally know,
Definitely.
you accept to pay them, yes or no?
Yes.
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 That means you see transportation here as a value adding activity. That is why you are paying. Otherwise, you will not pay. Isn't it?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
this is, in this case, transportation is not a waste. Imagine another scenario where you move your finished product from your shop floor area to warehouse. The warehouse is located, at let us say 100 kilometers from your factory. For some reason, you are shifting your finished product from your factory to warehouse. How many kilometers you moved?
100.
100 kilometers.
And now you are incurring expense here. There is a driver involved, there is a vehicle involved, isn't it? Time involved. And now you are now selling your finished product. 10 units you are selling. And for each of the unit, there is a agreed price. The agreed price is, let us say 5,000 rupees per unit. And 10 units you are selling. 10 into 5,000, total how much? 50,000
50,000.
rupees. And now you very well know, you have transported all these 10 units. So for each unit, you want to charge, another 500 rupees as the transportation cost. You are adding the transportation cost, 5,000 rupees in the bill. Now you want to claim 55,000 to the customer. Now you are the customer. Will you pay that extra 5,000 now happily?
No.
No.
When you used the taxi, you paid happily 1,000 rupees. But here, the company is asking only 500 rupees per item. But you don't want to pay. That means this kind of transportation is a waste. Yes or no?
Yes.
Because you should have avoided this transportation. How?
Can have your warehouse nearby your production area
Very good. You
and
should
reduce
have
the
your
transportation
warehouse or
cost.
nearby your production area, or otherwise you should have dispatched the product from the factory itself directly.
Yeah.
Just in time. You produce. Why storage in between? In our house, they produce the breakfast in the morning and they serve it on the spot, yes or no?
Yeah,
Yes.
but however, you need to consider the type of business, right? So maybe if that is a seasonal product where it needs some storage, right? So in that case, we need to have some warehouse or storage space. If it is instant deliverable item or perishable goods, yes, it is fine. Maybe it depends upon the business and the product or services which we are rendering.
In short term, I am okay with it. I'm absolutely agreeable. In short term, I'm okay. But do you want to run the business forever in the same manner?
Not really, yeah.
Not
But
really. So,
it is it is not that you need to incur the transportation cost and add that in your product cost. Rather, you can have it a warehouse nearby in the
see,
same place.
imagine you are today you are incurring a lot of transportation, and another competitor suddenly appears.
Yes, yes. See, I'm not saying that transportation is the only solution here.
You are not audible suddenly. Yeah, you are not audible suddenly. Please check.
Rather, no, it involves time taken and cost.
So all your constraints are tolerable in the short term, but definitely intolerable in the long term. All of you agree with me?
Yes.
If a competitor appears and if the competitor tries to be more efficient than you, what will happen to your existence?
We lost our business.
You may have to exit, isn't it? So there is a compelling reason. That is why we call it continual improvement. If we are doing a mistake, yes, we must admit and then try to eliminate that. So transportation is clearly a waste. You must first of all admit transportation as a waste. But we have a constraint. We wrongly located our warehouse 100 kilometers away. But after 5 years, I'll bring my warehouse close to my factory. Or maybe after 5 months, I will bring my warehouse close to my factory. Maybe after, I don't know, after 10 years, I will not keep any warehouse at all. I'll find alternate ways, yes or no? They are nowadays appointing distributors. They are appointing distributors. Isn't it? Why should I keep everything, in my custody? I have a distributor.
Hmm.
Now, distributor, he will find ways to remain efficient, yes or no? Everybody has the responsibility to remain efficient. So anyway, whenever transportation happens, whenever movement happens from one place to another place, one point to another point, and customer is not willing to not willing to pay for it, or you can't raise even a single rupee for such transportation, then you must admit it is a kind of waste. Yes or no? You can't, I
Yes.
very well agree. There are constraints, there are limitations. But constraint is your constraint, your limitation. You can't expect your customer to understand all your constraint. So transportation is a waste. And number two, inventory. I means inventory. Again, inventory is a waste. Why? Inventory is a waste. Why?
Overproduction might
Because inventory is first of all, no, basically storage.
It's a
Inventory, because
liability to the company.
it's block about the money.
You have to
Rather
block
than
your
customer expectation.
inventory, isn't it? Very good. So warehouse, and then your finished product lies in the warehouse, and work in progress lies, always, or lies in your factory. Raw material again lies in some place. Your money is blocked unless and until you sell. You can't convert your, investment into dollars. Your investment will just be an investment. But there will be a cash flow only if you can convert that into dollars again, isn't it? So inventory should be minimal. If the inventory keeps on increasing, then your cash flow will get affected. So the goal is, ideally, the goal is zero inventory. But I'm not saying that tomorrow you should operate at zero inventory. Wherever you are today, try to reduce it on a continual basis. At some point of time, you will be able to operate with zero inventory or very, very minimal inventory closer to zero. That is needed for your operation. Acceptable, all of you, because this is what Lean calls it as just in time. Everything is, in single word, it is known as just in time. You produce only when needed. If you produce only when needed, where is the transportation? Nothing, isn't it? Straight away it goes to the customer now, isn't it? There is no unnecessary transportation. And where is the inventory? Where is the storage? No storage required. Everything should happen in a just-in-time manner. Like how we run our daily life in our house. Morning we prepare breakfast, and when do we consume the breakfast?
Morning.
Morning itself. Morning we prepare fresh, and we consume in the morning itself.
Yes.
The idea here is no storage. Yes or no?
Yes.
And similarly, ingredients, raw material inventory. Now tell me how much you have invested for the raw material inventory for preparation of the food in your house. How many lakhs you invested?
What we need.
You don't want to invest so much, right?
Yes.
Per month, 5,000 or 10,000.
Too much inventory.
Somebody don't even invest 5,000 rupees because they are in such a place. Everything is fresh, available right in the morning. Right? Tomato, onion, whatever. Everything is available around their house. Have you noticed in certain prime area, everything comes to your doorstep very fresh. In that case, even you don't have to store, no, keep stock of raw materials in your refrigerator. Yes, sir. In fact,
Yes.
healthier lifestyle is you should not use any refrigerator at all. Isn't it? Buy fresh, make it immediately, cook it, and then eat
Consume
fresh.
it.
Where is the need for refrigerator? What is the difference here? What is required to gain this capability? What is required to gain this capability? You should be in a prime location, isn't it?
Visibility.
Or you should be surrounded by a good network of suppliers. Very simple. If you have a good network of suppliers who are capable of delivering all your demand with a lower replenishment time, then you don't have to keep higher inventory. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
You have 5 suppliers who can supply all your items in less than 4 hours. All that you need, some 4 to 6 hours of inventory. That's all. Maintaining inventory number of hours. Can you see that? It's not even a day, isn't it? So think about it. Think about it and develop good network of suppliers. Create a win-win scenario. They should also be happy and you should also be happy. And your waste of inventory can be drastically reduced, and slowly you can even think of zero inventory also. And it takes a lot of time. Agreed, all of you, inventory is a waste?
Inventory.
Yes.
Sir, inventory involved transportation also, correct?
Inventory and then?
Inventory is involved transportation also, because if I buy
One waste can lead to other waste. If you keep inventory, then probably transportation will also happen. Because it needs to be stored, and so it has to be transported, and all
I
that.
can use that hours in efficiently in other places also, correct?
Very, very true. Very, very true. Very, very true.
Okay.
Now the third form of waste, motion. How is it different from transportation? Transportation is also a movement, but one place to another place. But motion is movement within the same place.
Yes.
Zigzag
Right?
process.
Movement within the same place. Let us say the operator has to bend a lot to collect the item and then work on it and again store it. Now every time he has to bend. Tell me how many times he can bend. And some 100 times he will bend and then he will fall down completely. Right? So now you should think of reducing the movement in the workplace. Lesser the movement, more the product, more simple the process, and more productivities and more number of outputs, isn't it? Suppose imagine the workplace is completely unorganized. Everything is placed in the form of a clutter. Everything is completely mixed up. Now to pick up even some item, the operator has have to search a lot. He has to search a lot. Now, do you see a waste here? What kind of waste is happening now? The operator has to search for the tool. Every time you want to use the tool, he has to search for the tool. Is it a waste or not?
Yes, definitely it's waste.
Now, what is the waste happening here? Is it transportation happening now? He is only searching.
Movement.
Yes, sir. It's a time waste.
Time is the
It is
waste.
waste of time,
Time is the waste.
Number of
non-value added
screens.
activity.
During the searching, what is moving?
Time.
Your eyeballs are moving left and right, up and down. That's a motion waste. Yes or no?
Motion waste.
Your eyeball moving left, right, up, down is a motion waste. Can you design your
Sir, operator
workplace?
is fatigue. Fatigue will happen, sir.
After fatigue, it will lead to fatigue also, right? So one will lead to other, definitely. But now the eyeball movement is also considered, a motion waste.
Motion.
Items should be arranged in a way that it should be search free. That's all. I want a 12, 14 spanner or 12, 13 spanner. It should be easily identifiable. Search free. I am eliminating a waste known as motion waste. Hope all of you understand what is a motion waste, right? Small hand movement, arm movement, head movement, eyeball movement. Let us say the machine is set in such a way that the machine is moving unnecessarily, excessively. The machine, one arm of the machine is moving extra 2 inches every time. What is it? A shaper machine, you all know, there will be a ram, isn't it, which is going up and down. Sorry, front and back, isn't it? Shaper machine. Some machine.
Yeah.
And the operator has made the setting in a way that every time it has to move forward extra 2 inches, and so it has to come back those extra 2 inches. How do I call this? Extra 2 inches.
Motion.
It's waste, isn't it?
Yes.
Whether the machine or the operator or whatever, any form of resource, if it is moving excessively than required, then that is a motion waste. Hope all of you agree with me.
Yeah, yes.
We don't call it transportation here. We call it motion. So motion means the movement within the workplace. Movement from one workplace to other workplace is transportation. Okay. Now W means waiting.
Waiting.
Imagine in a factory, a machine is waiting because the raw material has not arrived. Is it a waste?
Yes, sir.
Why? Why it is waste? There is no raw material, so the machine is idle.
But manpower is standing
Manpower machine.
free, and the extra hours should be stop and same work. So
Correct.
the cost is effective over this part.
Running machines are known as assets.
Yes, sir.
Idle machines are liabilities. Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So waiting in any format is a waste. Imagine you invested 10 lakhs in a bank, fixed deposit. Do you want interest every day? Every day interest must be added, yes or no?
Yes.
Suppose if they say, sir, bank is working only for 8 hours a day, so we pay only interest for 8 hours. Remaining 16 hours we will not pay. Right? We want to know the value to be added every single minute. So waiting, no value addition is happening. Whether the raw material hasn't come or the operator hasn't come or the condition of the machine is not okay. For whatever reason, if the machine is idle,
Machine is
it's a
idle.
liability.
Yes.
If the machine is running, it is an asset. It is actually making money for you. If the machine is idle, it is actually sucking your money every single minute. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So waiting is a waste. Whether it is machine waiting, operator waiting, or manager waiting, or the management waiting, or everything is waiting. I don't know. All forms of waiting can happen. It is definitely a form of inefficiency. All of you agree with me?
Agree, sir.
Imagine my machine is waiting simply because the previous machine has not produced the output. Sometimes this is also a reason, isn't it? Because the output of the previous machine becomes input for my machine. The previous machine hasn't completed the output, hasn't produced the output. So my machine has to wait. Can you see the line poorly balanced here? Poorly balanced. You have to balance the line in a way that the flow is smooth. All the machines should run simultaneously. So waiting is a waste. Agreed. Now what is this O? Overproduction.
Overproduction.
Overproduction means producing more than the demand.
Yes, sir.
Producing more than the demand. Because when I produce more than the demand, it will become an inventory.
Yes, sir.
And so inventory is already a waste.
Yes, sir.
So in our family, there are, on an average, there will be 4 members, father, mother, and then 2 children. Now, how much you are making the breakfast? And you make the breakfast carefully considering the number of people who will be taking the breakfast. Yes or no? Right?
Yes.
Or do you produce the breakfast approximately? No. We
Is that
always
one?
try to produce the food as per the consumption. The demand and supply should be balanced always. You can't produce, on assumption. Maybe you are producing in that manner because, considering the market situation, considering etc., 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 etc. But definitely, no, you should understand you are inefficient today. For that, you need to understand the lean principles. Apply the lean principle, in wherever there is a possibility, you should apply it. Then what will happen? All the waste will automatically go away. We are going to learn all those principles, right, in the upcoming sessions. So, we are talking about overproduction. Producing more than the demand leads to overproduction. Overproduction is not only producing more than the demand. Even if you produce yearly, that also becomes a case of overproduction. Am I right?
Right.
Yes.
If your breakfast is prepared on the previous day night itself and stored in a hot pack or somewhere refrigerator, you don't like it, isn't it? Same manner. The overproduction is producing more in numbers or producing yearly. Both are forms of overproduction. Then what is overprocessing? Somebody tell me what is overprocessing?
So over processing, we are change after final product, we are change. So we are change the part for
Rework.
Over
Okay,
processing
rework.
is the
Yeah,
creating
rework.
number of
Yeah.
processes.
Processing again and again.
Yeah, your rework is a good example. Yeah, you do rework, but your customer is not going to pay for the rework.
Yes, sir.
There is no point of putting going beyond the specification. As per the specification, you produce. If you go beyond the spec, and if the customer is not going to pay anything extra, then what you did is over processing. Correct?
Correct.
You signed a
Yes.
you signed a painting contract. According to the contract, 2 coatings has to be given, and the 2 coatings are over. Now the painter want to go for the 3rd coating, and so he gave the 3rd coating also. Now, do you think the customer will now pay extra for the 3rd coating also? It's already agreed,
No.
right? Already the painting contract is already agreed as 50,000. For some reason, he has gone for the 3rd coating in certain area because some paint was remaining. So he has applied the 3rd coating, and then he was trying to charge extra 10,000 rupees, and certainly the customer will not be interested, right? If you are putting efforts and finally if the customers are not actually valuing it, then what you did is over processing. You end up over processing a work, right? Whenever your efforts are not valued by the customer, you need to understand your effort is a over processing. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Yeah.
inspection also comes under over process.
What is that?
Inspection also comes under over process.
Inspection comes under over processing. Yes. Yes,
So,
we
but
can.
is
We
it
can.
not your continuous improvement? Inspection is something that we need to do.
Yeah.
Uh,
See, inspection is certainly non-value adding. Inspection is certainly non-value adding.
Hello.
But as already mentioned by one of our participants, It's a current situation now. Currently, we are running a process at a particular level of capability that inspection is required.
Yes.
But once you keep on improving, like continual improvement, at some point of time, inspection is not required.
Yes, sir.
You just switch on, and whatever you produced will be immediately packed. That's all. No inspection in between.
So, sorry to barge in here. You mean the inspection is like audit? Because we are referring a lot of manufacturing terminology here. When it comes to operations in a corporate sector, are you referring an audit as a non-value audit? Because we have agreed to deliver certain quality percentage to the client. And audit is something which is mandatory to deliver that before it is been at the customer end. So will that be
See,
considered as a non-value added?
Yeah. But strictly speaking, it is a non-value adding, because by inspection nothing happens to a product. By auditing, nothing happens. But when certain things are essential, it is part of the requirement, right? It is part of your quality assurance system. Then it is better to avoid value add, non-value add analysis in those cases. You should not be
Because it is
confused
a
by,
customer requirement.
yeah, if audit is required, if it is part of the customer requirement, and it is essential. But all the three are forms of appraisal: inspection, audit, even calibration of your equipments. All of these things are part of appraisal, and these are kind of essential activity right now, because according to our current capability, these are essential. We can't skip the inspection, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, we can say this is as a business need, like a business value added something.
Yes, correct.
It is part of a business requirement. Also, wherever man intervention is more than, we need to implement inspections.
Correct. You're right.
Inspection
Yeah.
is mandatory for confirming the degree of conformance.
Yes.
See,
Sir, my
say for
opinion.
example, it doesn't mean that we should go for an 100% inspection.
Yes.
Most of the time, we don't do 100% inspection, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, agree.
That means you already improved. That means you already improved your process. You already reduced the inspection. Now you are only hardly 2%, 10%, 5% of the item you are inspecting. Yes or no? You produce several thousand parts every day, but hardly 50 parts you do the inspection, sampling study.
Yes.
Why are you reducing inspection? You already know it is non-value adding. You already know it is non-value adding, but your process capability has to tell whether inspection can be eliminated or not. If you have gained a higher level of capability, probably you can eliminate a separate inspection. Maybe inspection can be real time.
So maybe we'll take this as an example when we are in a banking industry, right? When there is a service level agreement that before executing the payment, it is mandatory to do an audit for all the payment which has been uploaded in the portal before it is getting executed. So whether it is when we say, we cannot comment on this as a non-value added, because it's a protocol and it is a CTQs which is agreed that we need to follow this.
Correct. Yeah. See, that means it has become an essential requirement. It is agreed in the contract. So in that case, there is no point of performing a VA and NVA analysis. Don't do that.
Yes.
So sometimes we get confused by performing VA and NVA. Definitions are available, but there are certain areas.
It varies on the industry side. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, Ravi Kumar raising your hand. You have a question.
Thank you, sir. No, just wanted to understand the audit that we are talking about, especially in regards to the IT. Like majority, I can understand that the examples refer to industries, but when it comes to your delivery or operations team, we do something called statutory compliance. So audit is part of the statutory compliance. So we have to perform, not necessarily to do the defect analysis, but that's part of the compliance process. So we have to adhere to auditing. So in this case, that cannot be considered as a case, isn't it?
Yeah. See, that's what. See, In certain areas, it is better to avoid your VA, NVA analysis or the waste analysis. Don't do that because it's an essential requirement,
Agreed, yes.
right? You have to do it. So, certain things are must be. Yes, we must do it. And it's part of the agreement. It's part of the requirement. So no question there. But wherever no, you are unnecessarily
Yes.
over processing and then it's not part of the requirement, you should consider reducing it, and if possible, consider eliminating also.
Makes sense, yes.
Yeah, understood. So overproduction, overprocessing, defects, anyway, non-conformances, yes, they must be reduced and eliminated. So these are the 7 types of waste. So what is lean by now? Lean is a approach. Lean is a philosophy where we try to reduce all forms of waste, if possible. And what is a waste, by the way? Non-value adding activity. Or in other words, it is a form of inefficiency. It is a form of inefficiency.
Inefficiency.
So what is efficiency? Optimal utilization of resources.
Resources, yes.
I'm not saying that you are not supposed to consume any resources. Consume, but how much? In the required quantity.
Sir,
So
sorry
resources
to interrupt,
must
sir.
be monitored. Resource consumption must be monitored. And whenever excessive consumption happens, efforts must be made to reduce it. This is exactly lean. Understand?
Sir,
Less
just one quick
resource,
question.
more production. Less
Less
resource
resource,
and more production. Yes.
obviously. That's what, no? So,
Hello, sir.
focus on
Sir, just
efficiency.
one quick question. Sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt. For the acronym TIMWOOD, what
Timwood,
does
yeah,
D
Timwood.
stand for?
D
What does
stands
D
for
stand for?
defect.
Okay. Thank you.
D stands for defect. Efficiency should not happen at the expense of your effectiveness, and effectiveness should not happen at the expense of your efficiency. You should, always keep it in mind, right? So, improve on the quality as well as improve on the cost without affecting the other. So, what is the focus
I
of?
have a question.
Yeah,
Hello.
yeah.
So, sir, as you told about over processing and wastage management, so I like to ask one question related to beverage industry, as I was I intern in Varun Beverage. So there is one problem in beverage industry that there is no rework again when there is problem in capping and bottling problem. So how can we
Yeah.
Six Sigma implemented there in beverage? There is already it is a automation part, so there is large number of wastage during production of CSDs and non-CSDs. So how can it be improved?
You are the first industry to implement Six Sigma because you mentioned rework is not allowed.
Yes,
The
sir.
basic principle of Six Sigma is doing things right at the first time. The
Hmm.
problem with the food industry is you can't rework.
Yes, sir.
The food item has gone wrong. We can't correct. Let's say the potato chips are over fried. Now it is directly scrapped. You can't reverse it, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
No.
So the only way you can ensure quality is by preventing the defects, and correction is difficult. So you must understand the Six Sigma principles, teach the principles to each and every employee in your organization.
Okay.
Then probably they will be able to prevent the defects. Do you understand? So Six Sigma can be used for correction as well as prevention. Correction is wherever rework is allowed, yes, you can use the principles for correction. But wherever reworks are not allowed, yes, the only option is you must proactively
Prevention.
prevent. Yeah, don't worry. Slowly, you will definitely, come to that maturity. So, what is the focus of Lean Six Sigma? Both of them focus on continual process improvement. Very simple. Six Sigma is continually improving our process, and slowly we will bring it to the level that defects are impossible to happen. Do you agree? Slowly, I improve my process, and now I come to the level where defects are impossible to happen. Even if an operator want to make a mistake, my process system will not allow the defect to happen. If my car doors are not closed properly, my car will not allow me to start it. Even if I am a careless driver, I have to close all the doors properly. Then only I'll be able to start the car and move. Can you see that?
Okay, system.
Yeah, kind of okay. But these features were not there, 10 years before. Now only all these things are brought, isn't it? Everything, happens through continual improvement. Both Six Sigma as well as Lean are nothing but continual improvement of process. In Six Sigma, we arrest all forms of defect, whereas in Lean, we try to arrest all forms of waste. Have you seen moving assembly line where 30, 40 people will be standing and then the line will be moving, isn't it?
Yes.
And within a certain time period, you have to complete your work.
Yes, sir.
That means your entire work is less than a minute only.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Your work is only 40 seconds. By the time you finish your work, the next part will be waiting. You have to be productive, yes or no?
Yes.
Like from 7 o'clock
sir.
now, what is the time? 9:35. You have been learning continuously. Am I right? Or are you idle sometime in between? No. So that means you are very productive today. So Lean's focus is to ensure the resources are productive always. So how can we make this happen? By improving our process, and by making our process learn from the mistakes. Nothing wrong. You can make mistakes today. There can be failure, there can be rejections, nothing wrong. But learn from it.
Yes.
And the learning should again be internalized as part of your process. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Then what happens? Then slowly your process will become more and more capable. I use the word intelligent here. Your process becomes more and more intelligent. And after some point of time, your process will not allow any defects to happen. Your process itself will take care. There is no point of depending on the people. So you cannot be people centric so long. You have to slowly shift to process centric. Why should we do this? So you become operationally excellent. You become operationally excellent. So what is operationally excellent? It's again another kind of mindset where we want to be better than our competitor in several aspects. We want to be better than our competitor in many aspects, importantly in terms of quality, in terms of productivity, in terms of cost, in terms of delivery, with the minimal risk, right? So such a scenario is known as operational excellence. If you achieve all of these things and make everyone contribute to that, your company will grow very fast. Okay. Now let's understand the power of small improvement, incremental improvement in the process. For that, okay, I think there is some other information. Yeah, we'll go to that activity a little later. So there are different combinations I'm showing here. Look at the last combination. Your process is brilliant and your people also brilliant, and definitely you can now expect great result. But where should we start? Start with your process. Wherever you are, try to make your process brilliant. Then automatically the next thing will start happening. What is that? Converting your average people into brilliant people. And that will lead to attainment of operational excellence, and hence your organization can achieve the business goals. Okay. And now this can be understood using the other method also. See here, perfect seed with perfect environment, and you give the seed the needed amount of time, perfect amount of time. Now what will happen? The seed can definitely turn out into a big tree, and that can give better fruits. Now the same manner, if you have perfect process system and then surrounded by perfect people and guided with perfect strategies from the top management. Who will give the strategies? Top management. Then what will happen? Your company can definitely become a market leader and your business can be highly profitable. This is possible with every company. Yeah. Now let's do a small activity. Yeah.
Sir, this is Prasanna. Can you click in the previous one? Just I remember, right?
Yeah.
See, there is a 8 ways I remember, right? So this
Yes.
perfect people and perfect skill fit to this process, then we can eliminate this waste, right? So
You're talking
non-net,
about the 8th waste, right? Underutilized
yes.
talents.
Yes. If you
Yeah,
have a
exactly.
correct skill, correct person, then we can produce excellence, right?
True. Correct. True. You're right.
Yeah, fine.
Perfect. So now let's do a small exercise. I am going to show a set of numbers and symbols to all of you. Be ready. You keep a pen and notebook with you. I will show the numbers and symbols for 45 seconds. All that you need to do is memorize the numbers and symbols in the same order. Is my instruction clear? Understandable? And don't write down everything when I show. What did I say? You just have to memorize, right? Don't be over smart. Just memorize for the 45 seconds. Then I will ask you to write down, right? Let's see how many of you are good in memorizing the information. Now your time starts now. That was easy, right? Right? Now I will give you another 45 seconds. Now write down the numbers and symbols in your notebook in the same order. You should match the number with the symbol, right? Try. I'll give you 45 seconds and my stopwatch has already started. It's running.
Done, sir.
Oh, great. Very good. You took only 30 seconds. So another 15 seconds for others.
Done, sir.
Yes, sir, done.
Done.
Another 10
Yes, sir,
seconds.
done.
Very good. Very good. That means I gave you extra time. Okay. 45 seconds over. Now all of you can stop writing. Now we will do a self-assessment. I am going to share the screen again. And you are going to do the self-assessment now. Let's see. And the expectation is all of you should get 10 out of 10. Do the self-assessment and share your score in the chat box. If you have matched all the numbers with the symbols correctly, you get 10 out of 10. If there is a problem, you get lesser mark, but marks are not important. Share the score. All of you can share the score and all of you can keep an eye on the chat box. Few people are getting 10 out of 10. I really appreciate them. Are you noticing variation, all of you?
Yeah.
Are you noticing variation in your data?
Yes, sir. Yes.
That variation actually reflects the quality loss.
Yes, sir.
The variation actually reflects the quality loss. Now, what can we do to control the variation? Because just now we studied when I control the variation, quality loss can be prevented. Yes or no?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
I want to see to that each one of you here get 10 out of 10. Now, what should I do to reduce the variation? Now, tell me why variation, populated here. What could be the reason?
Because letters is moving here and there. So there is
Oh,
no proper manner.
letters are jumbled, and you found it. The
Jumbled.
work was made, difficult to do.
Yes, yes.
Same thing will happen in your workplace also. That's why I said standardization is not enough. Simplification is also needed.
Yes.
Try to modify the process in a way that effort required should be reduced. Let me do some changes here and represent the information, right? Represent the information. Same thing. Are you finding the information now easier to remember? Same number, same symbol. But now it is little more easier, isn't it?
First 1-4 is the reverse direction of from 6 to 9.
Okay, whatever logic, yes, you can use it.
There is the same symbol for odd numbers and even numbers.
Okay. So now definitely it is easier, right? I've simplified the process. Now definitely your scores should go up.
Increase.
Quality is gaining, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
And this is known as continual improvement. We modify the process step by step, step by step. And so what happens? It becomes easy for your people to follow. The theme here is effort reduction. I'm simplifying the process and I'm reducing the effort required. So what happened? The output will enhance. Now let me show you the next level of improvement. I think by now all of you will be able to get 10 out of 10. Now I'm presenting the same numbers and symbols, right? Slightly in a different format. Now tell me, is it easy to remember now?
Yes.
Now all of you
Yes.
will get 10 out of 10.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What happened to the variation? Variation
Pattern.
vanished, isn't it? And you reach the ultimate quality, isn't it? So your process should be designed in a way to control the variation effectively. So what will happen? The quality loss can be prevented. And now also you should have noted earlier you struggled to get 10 out of 10 in 45 seconds. Now tell me how many seconds are required now to remember this?
10 seconds.
10 seconds.
Single minute,
Fine.
single second.
5 times, 6 times improvement. Can you see that? Your speed has increased.
Yes.
Not only the quality improved, your speed also improved. So the purpose of Six Sigma is to enhance the quality, and the purpose of Lean is to enhance your speed. Lean increases your speed, and Six Sigma enhances your quality. Both are important in any business, right? That's why they go hand in hand. Now the theme what we discussed right now is effort reduction. Am I right? Small improvements with an intention of reducing the effort. This can be called as even a Kaizen. Small improvements. Then small continual improvements are known as Kaizens. Okay. Now let's understand the definition of now you are very clear about Lean, clear about Six Sigma. Can one of you read out the definition of operational excellence? Then I will explain it. Who can read louder? Yes, go ahead.
Operational excellence is the execution of the business strategy consistently and reliably better than the competition in terms of quality, productivity, and cost with lower operational risk, leading to increased revenues and profit relative to its competitor. Lean Six Sigma is an OPEX philosophy that can boost profitability, market share, and customer satisfaction with a
Very
strategic
good.
focus on quality.
Very good. Very good. Thank you. So, operational excellence means you execute your strategy consistently and reliably better in comparison to your competitor. First of all, what is a strategy? Long-term plan.
Planning.
Strategy is nothing but long-term plan. The idea of long-term plan is the probability of success will be higher. All of you agree with me?
Yes.
If I want you to be successful in your life within the next 3 days, I think it is difficult. None of us will succeed. Within 3 days, we can't achieve anything, right? But if I give all of you 3 years time, I'm sure, no, you will accept the challenge and even achieve it. Yes or no? So strategic plan means it's a long-term plan. Minimum duration is 3 years, 3 to 5 years. And not only a plan, that plan should be executed properly across the organization at all levels. See here, one example, Jio. You all know Jio, right? I think, which year they got introduced? 2010, yeah. Maybe 10 or 11 they introduced. But within 3 to 5 years, they have become a market leader. Have you noticed? They entered the market as a new company. But within 3 to 5 years, they have become what? Market leader. How? They simply followed, these principles. They come up with the product, definitely best in comparison to the competitor. At the same time, they offered it at a very low cost. In fact, the first 2 years, they offered their products and services completely free of cost. Yes or no?
Yes.
So that was their strategy. Strategy means, something, which you should live it. You can't, keep on changing it. So they announced it is free. They actually executed it. And so what happened after 3 years, slowly all the customers started using Jio. And look at the growth rate of Jio in the market. Sorry, 2016. 2016, they got introduced. And 2020, they have become a market leader. First 2 years, probably they don't have, big share. They were just, present. But third year, they got 11% customer market share. Tell me where from the 11% customers came? They all came from some other planet? They have come from?
They jumped from the other network. So
Yeah,
the
your
other
competitors only. So it's very, very important that you stand out in the competition. They actually stood out, isn't it? They had better quality. At the same time, cost-wise, they are cheaper. At the same time, they were very fast in responding to the customers' concerns and customers' requirement. So slowly, their market share improved. And within next 2, 3 years, see here, 2020, they actually become a market leader. In the process, many big brands, they have to walk out. Isn't it? And so this is the power of, the operational excellence approach. There has to be proper long-term plan. They were able to offer their product and services completely free of cost because that was their long-term plan. Yes or no?
Yes.
They have arranged the resources well in advance, and then they pumped in the resources as per the plan, and now they got back everything. Correct?
Yes, sir.
So this is a demonstration of operational excellence, right? There has to be strategies, there has to be plans. If you have goals available and if the goals are measurable, you will be able to understand the what you call the challenges. Do you understand? If the goals are made clear and goals are made measurable, if you also understand where are you right now, your current state, then the gap can be visible. All the gaps are nothing but the challenges, current challenges. The challenges are nothing but the improvement opportunities. You can consider the gaps as improvement opportunities, nothing but the project, or you can always, consider all the gap as the problems, and then you can try to run away from it, which is a good idea. You want to run away from the problems and the gaps, or you want to face the problems and then consider the problems as learning and improvement opportunities, which is a good idea.
Yes.
Considering the problems as learning and improvement opportunities. So now there are 4 types of improvement possible. I am using the keyword here: better, faster, cheaper, easier. Just now we spoke about effort reduction, isn't it? That's one kind of improvement, or one theme of improvement is making the job easier for your people. This is making your products and services more and more better to your customers. This is another improvement. And gaining capability to produce faster. Till last month, I was consuming, let's say, 40 minutes to produce one part. But this month, I could produce the same part in 30 minutes. Now I am able to produce faster. Another thing is my operating cost. My operating cost is getting cheaper and cheaper. See, nowadays, every product and service, gradually the price is coming down. Have you noticed? If you can't control your operating cost, if you can't remain efficient, it is not possible for you to offer the same product at a much lower price. So these are the 4 types of improvement you can target, right? And now there are different approaches available. See here, all the approaches are written here. And quick win, JDI. JDI means just do it. When can you use the just do it approach? If the problem is present and solution also present, what should you do?
Just do it.
Implement it immediately, right? So JDA is the approach, where problems are very obviously visible and the people know the solution. And the solutions are easily implementable. In that case, just do it is the approach. And or otherwise, we could say like this: there are certain issues happening, but our current operators, they are able to fix the problems themselves. They don't require any support from the management. No budget required. No team formation is required. In all those scenarios, you can follow the approach known as just do it. Sometimes what happens, a team formation is required. A cross-functional team formation is required. And maybe management attention is required. Because some extra resources are required. But at the same time, the solution is available. Do you understand the difference? Earlier, solution was available and no special permission, no extra resources, no team formation, nothing is required. In those cases, it is just do it. But still, document your solution. Another scenario, solution exists, but still team formation is required, management intervention is required, some little resources are required. In those cases, you can go for next level of problem solving approach known as Kaizen or small group activity or the quality circle approach, and all of these things can do. And there is another scenario where there is a problem. There is a problem and solution doesn't exist. Moreover, people do not have any knowledge about the root cause. The root cause is unknown, solution also unknown. In those scenario, you can very well use the Six Sigma methodology, DMAIC, right? And you can use the DMAIC or DMAC methodology and Six Sigma to solve 1 or 2 problems here and there. And yet, 1 or 2 problems here and there and end up achieving small results, right? See here, small improvement. But you can always think of implementing Six Sigma strategically and drive hundreds of projects year on year for the next 3 to 5 years and then achieve breakthrough results. What is breakthrough results? Your market share might get doubled. There are some big results you can target and actually achieve. So it depends. It requires management's attention to this approach. Yes or no? If your top managements understand all of these things, then Six Sigma can be implemented in your organization using a top-down approach. Otherwise, Six Sigma will be used as a, for example, all of you have become a belt now. Now, after you go back to a company, what will you do? You might probably try to do 1 or 2 projects, isn't it? But in that case, it will end up producing a very small improvements, right? But Six Sigma can be used even for breakthrough improvements, right? Breakthrough improvements, if you are targeting, yes, certainly the management's initiative and participation is very, very important. And breakthrough with investment. That means development. Just I spoke, I believe, isn't it? There are 2 things. One is improvement, the other one is development. Development means developing a new product or penetrating into a new market, right? Or increasing your plant capacity. All of these things are known as breakthrough with investment. And in other words, they are known as design for Six Sigma. Okay. So this slide talks about the difference between conventional business model and the business model we are talking here right now. What kind of business model we are talking right now? Lean Six Sigma business model. What is the difference? In conventional, the focus is short term. How to pay the salary for this month, how to dispatch the delivery today. Customer has placed order. Whereas in the Lean Six Sigma business model, our focus are on the long-term gains. We are ready to even compromise some of the short-term gains, considering a benefit in the long term. Do you understand? The thought process is completely different. And for companies believing in Lean Six Sigma, best-in-class quality is inexpensive. Means your operating cost can be minimal while maintaining highest levels of quality. Do you understand? Maybe for some of you it is difficult to digest, but the reality is best-in-class quality are possible with very low operating cost. Right? You check nowadays, there are many companies, many products are available at a very lowest cost. I could order, from Chennai. I can order an item from Jaipur, and then, I find it, extremely cheaper. At the same time, the quality is best in class. Even if I give the same order to a company sitting, available next to my house, they may not give it to me at that price. Possible, right? So here their idea of profit maximization is reducing the cost of poor quality. Whereas traditional companies, they try to maximize the profit by reducing the cost of good quality. See here, what are written here? Highly skilled manpower.
High skilled resource.
But spending on skilled manpower is a cost of good quality or poor quality?
Poor
The
quality.
company, poor quality. Then you will not be paid high salary even after even after you become a belt. So salary to your employee. See, good talents always they cost higher, isn't it? So that is actually the cost incurred for the manpower is actually a cost of good quality. At the same and similarly, the cost incurred to implement or adopt a good technology is also a cost of good quality, isn't it? So there is no point of compromising or reducing, the spending on the cost of good quality. Rather, you should focus on reducing your spending on the cost of poor quality. The approach is different. All right. And so the cost of poor quality are nothing but the cost associated with the defects, cost associated with the waste, and cost associated with the risk. So any company should continually focus on reducing defects, waste, and risk, so they will gradually become operationally excellent. Is this slide clear?
Yes.
So left side is traditional companies, they focus on reducing the cost of good quality. Whereas the Lean Six Sigma companies, they focus on reducing cost of poor quality. You know what will happen if you reduce your expenses on cost of good quality? That will actually increase your cost of poor quality. Yes or no? All right. Okay, so there is cost of good quality on the left side, cost of poor quality on the right side. Cost of good quality are nothing but the cost associated with prevention and appraisal. Whereas cost of poor quality are nothing but cost associated with internal failure and external failure. If the failures or defects or non-conformances are detected within your company, it's internal failure. If the failures are detected after your product, leaves your company, like field failure, warranty claim, and these are external failure. Prevention means your planning, SOP, maintenance, training, these are all prevention. Inspection, calibration, audit, these are all
Cost of good
appraisal
quality.
cost. There is no point of checking whether these things are value adding or non-value adding. You should do it. Because if you spend 1 rupee in prevention, you can save 10 rupee in appraisal. You can save 100 rupee in failure. If you don't spend this 1 rupee in prevention, you will spend excessively 10 rupee in appraisal and lose 100 rupee in failure. 1-10-100 rule, right? So it's good to spend in the good area, cost of good quality. So consistent quality of, so competitiveness means consistent quality of final products are required. Your product should be best in class. At the same time, the price must be competitive, and then you should be able to deliver fast. All of this thing demands capable system, capable process, capable people, and capable partner. You all know what is system. You all know what is process. People means who are people? Your employees, right?
Yes, yes.
And who are partners?
Suppliers,
Customers,
business
customers,
Your
Stakeholders.
suppliers, for whomsoever associated with your company. So
Vendors also.
everybody should remain capable. You must you must somehow include all of them while measuring your capability, and then only customer will prefer your products and services over others. We'll quickly just show certain slides, and then we'll wind up for the day. See here, we need to focus on reducing the defects, reducing the cost, and also respond fast. So what are we supposed to do? In order to reduce the defects, we must improve our effectiveness. You all know what is effectiveness. Similarly, in order to reduce the waste, we must improve on our efficiency. Whenever you want to improve the effectiveness, yes, you must apply Six Sigma principles. Whenever you want to improve your efficiency, you must practice or apply the lean principles, and also the basic quality principles, and always need to be followed. So what will happen? You will be able to achieve the quality while reducing your operating cost and maximizing your profit. Now let me quickly show you the various principles of quality. I think you all should know the meaning of it. Can somebody tell me what is the meaning of customer focus? First principle of quality, customer focus.
Understand their requirement.
Understand their requirement. Before that, you understand your customer first, before even understanding their requirement. What is understanding customer? Customer segment. Customer segment, isn't it? For what do you call the Hyundai i20, there is a customer segment. For BMW, there is another customer segment. Yes or no? You should know your customer segment and then know their requirements. You are considered to know the customer requirement only if you can convert the requirements into CTQs or technical specification. Am I right?
Right, sir.
Yes.
If you are not able to convert your customer requirement, it simply says you have not understood your customer and their requirements, right? And also there is a concept, external, internal customer. What is internal customer? The next process.
Next process owner.
The next process owner is your internal customer. You must understand that. Very good. So that's the customer focus, process approach, system approach. Remember our example, right? Our hand not cooperating during eating. It's not fair. It's not going to be productive. So process approach, system approach, always you should know your input, output, and process. Variation exists in all process. Reducing variation is the key to improvement. Factual approach. You should always be data driven, fact driven, not opinion driven. Even your supplier quality is important. These are all basic quality principles. Now, moving on. Lean principle. Lean talks about 5 important areas: value, value stream, flow, pull, and perfection. What is value? Whenever you are talking about value, value must be defined from the customer's standpoint. Am I correct?
Correct, sir.
If you think about your convenience and your way of doing a work, you will not be able to understand what is value. Value should always be defined from the customer's perspective. You stand in the customer's shoe. Then you define what is value adding and what is non-value adding. That is the first principle. Second principle, value stream. Capture every piece of activity that is happening in your workplace. Capture every piece of activity and type it down one by one, right? And record in which order they are happening. And record how much time you are spending on each and every activity. And record how much resources goes into every activity. Do you get my point? The resulting information is known as value stream. Value stream is always a mix of both value adding and non-value adding. If you want to record all the activities that happened in our session, we started by 7 o'clock, but 8:36, we stopped for the break. Break should also be recorded now. Then 8:47 we commenced, and in between there were a lot of interaction happened. Every piece of activity must be recorded. The resulting information is known as what? Value stream. Then later you analyze the value stream and try to eliminate all the non-value adding. Like for example, what is non-value adding in our session today? From 7 p.m. to now, it's already over processing is happening, 10:10. Tell me. Yeah. What is
Break.
non-value adding here today?
10 minutes break.
10 minutes break.
Break.
So what can we do tomorrow?
Without
Tomorrow also we need a break, right?
No
So-
break.
because we can't eliminate. But we can think of reducing, maybe convert that into 8 minutes break or 5 minutes. Yeah. Okay. But if it is essential, we can't avoid. And flow means value should continuously flow. Like remember earlier I told you, you have deposited 10 lakh in your bank. You want interest every single minute, yes or no?
Yes.
So same manner, all the work that is happening every single minute, value addition should happen. If machines are lying idle, if operators are idle, if they are making rework, all of these things are non-value adding, isn't it? So only value addition should happen. Value should always flow towards the customer requirement. It should not, it should not change the direction. Sometimes we see our process, process flow is getting disturbed. Process should flow like a river. A river always flow forward. But in our factory, if you look at, one of our participants was also asking, is the beverage industry, sir, there are a lot of problems happen. So what happened? We come back, isn't it? Let's say a defect happened. Now we have to bring all the defect item and then rework on it. Instead of moving forward, sometimes we move backward also, isn't it? All that should be avoided. This is known as principle of flow. Pull means every process should be connected to the next process, and there has to be a way of communication between the process. My next process is my customer. Some of you told me, am I right?
Yes.
So your customer should raise a demand. Then only my process will produce. This is known as establishing pull. If you understand and then adopt all these principles, wherever there is a possibility, then slowly, you will achieve perfection. You will become operationally excellent, and everything will happen. Now, coming to the Six Sigma also combines the similar principle. But what is very important with Six Sigma is data-driven decision making. Six Sigma means variation reduction. These are the two main things you must remember. And in addition, customer focus, process improvement, root cause analysis, continuous improvement, employee involvement, management support, and DMAC methodology for improvement, DFSS for the development. All these principles collectively drive the methodology aiming to enhance quality, reduce defect, and improve the overall process performance. So these are the principles behind quality, lean, and Six Sigma. So I would like to stop here. And do you want to ask anything before we close the show for day number 1?
No, it's
Everything is good?
Also,
Good to proceed to the dinner.
yes.
good, sir.
Sleep, right?
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Good to go,
So
sir.
enjoy your dinner and then have a nice sleep. We'll meet tomorrow. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye. Good night.
Bye. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Take care.